Hey, this is the beginning of the CIAA football season, the academic season in my mind, the sports season, the 22-23 year. So happy that all of you could be with us this morning. We thank you, and to be very honest with you, it's so good to see you. I don't know about any of you, but I'm just happy to be able to see all of you, and we missed you from the last 2 years with Media Day and at games and just going to your institutions. And so we're certainly happy to be able to fulfill those dreams that we've all had, to be able to be an athlete, a coach, an administrator, whatever it is. Your dreams are being fulfilled, especially in the CIAA, and we're so happy that you could be here, and we're so happy to get this season started. So with further ado, I'm Stan Luter, and the CIAA 21 season was a very good season. We had some great success. We had a couple players that are actually going to be starting this week in NFL camps, and one young man that is drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs. Bowie State University won their third consecutive CIAA football championship and made it to the quarters of the NCAA. Had a great season there. We had great attendance records being necessarily broken, but we had people coming back to stadiums and supporting the CIAA institutions. CIAA football is alive and vibrant. CIAA football is doing well, and partly because of the people that are in this room. So again, we thank you for everything. We also welcome 4 new football coaches that you'll get a chance to meet today. And we're so excited about this. And the interesting thing about these coaches is that they all attended at one time or another their respective school that they're coaching. Now, again, that shows CIAA gives back, CIAA for life. So again, so many great things that we look for 2022, and then this season we're ready to go. So without any more, please turn your attention to the video screen for remarks from the CIAA board president and the chancellor at Bowie State University, the 3-time CIAA champions. Please welcome President Aminta Bro.
Greetings. I'm Aminta Bro, the very proud 10th president of Bowie State University and the chair of the CIAA Board of Directors. On behalf of the CIAA, I want to welcome each of you to our Media Day as we kick off the 2022 football season. We're excited to begin a new season and have another opportunity to watch our student athletes compete. I want to thank all the university administrators, our sports information directors, and our media partners for sharing the CIAA story. I also want to extend my gratitude to Salem Roanoke for serving as the host city and allowing the CIAA and its member schools to continue building upon our legacies. So let's get this season underway.
Welcome back to the Roanoke Valley and the city of Salem, CIAA. We're very excited to have you here today, as we have with the championship games that we have hosted, the one in March with bowling and the ones to come up. Welcome to the Roanoke Valley. Salem and our members of the Roanoke Valley are excited to be able to welcome you for each of these tournaments, the ones that will be occurring October with your cross-country teams, your volleyball, women's volleyball in November, along with the football team in November. So we're very excited to have you all here today.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, I have to agree with you 100%. What a great day to be here in Roanoke and Salem and celebrating the CIAA football championship that's coming in. I will tell you, first of all, it's great to see everybody smiling. No mask, you know. Yeah. Isn't that great? Hopefully the endemic is getting soon past us, and we can welcome not just dozens, not just hundreds, but thousands of CIAA for life fans here in our region coming up this fall. We're so grateful for the CIAA staff. They're so great to work with, especially Breon and everybody that we get to interact with. And we just think this is going to be a successful season just all around. And hopefully I'm going to be in charge of the weather that day, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful. Might be a little bit chilly, but it's still going to be a great day. And so we just encourage all of you all to show up and bring your friends and your relatives with you. but just get them to stay in a hotel room if you would, please. That would be great.
Thank you both. We promised we weren't going to talk to you for a second, but I want to ask you or make a comment to you. First, Mayor, it's always been so great to come here to the Valley. Everybody's been so hospitable. Let me ask you this. What does the CIAA's involvement with your community bring to it and vice versa?
Well, there's so much that the CIAA does to actually contribute to the community. The youth clinic that we had yesterday with the football coaches and the players and the staff members that were able to be here, phenomenal. Those young people, I walked in grinning and I left smiling and grinning. To be able to share your skills, to work with our young people, to encourage them to pursue their education. I was in a meeting that we had last year when we were over at the Salem Civic Center, and your young men spoke to the different elementary school students, and the questions that they asked were so neat, but your young men that answered those questions, they were, I said to someone, they were so poised and they were so on point, encouraging them. Education is the most important thing. Football will come after that, but you have to get your education. And just what they have shared with our young people in the community is just unmatchable. There's nothing that can compare to it. That clinic yesterday, I know that the field out there was very, very hot, but those young people and the coaches that gave that energy, because I'd look around, I'd see coaches encouraging them to do things, and the young people, they were reacting and they were loving every minute of it. So it'll be something they'll remember for the rest of their lives.
Well, certainly very happy to be a part of that and do that. Landon, for you, you talked about the weather. It's always beautiful during football championship time. What does the CIAA, what's the value, similar to what we said, what's the value of coming to the Blue Ridge area? And what can our fans take away from that? And how can you guys continue to talk about the CIAA after we're gone from the championship weekends?
I've learned so much about the CIAA since we've been blessed to have the championships that we've had here. And I will say that I have to give a lot of accolades to Mayor Sherman Lee,
Yes.
who's with the city of Roanoke. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here today, but talking about CIAA for life, Sherman Lee, he's amazing. And one of the things that he and I have had many conversations about is that it's about the student athlete, and it's about their future and creating a fabulous experience for them. And I love the interactions that we have with the players in particular, but especially when we host lunches. And I mean, they're professional, they're young, they're smart, and it's just great to have them here. And then to think about the future and the fact that they get to interact with other students, maybe in junior high and high school, and keeping the CIAA dream alive, and getting more and more of those students to go to these universities and colleges is so critical that we support that effort.
Well, we thank you again for all your hospitality, your facilities, the love that you continue to show all of our events, our student athletes and our administrators. So again, thank you. One person we cannot forget to mention is Kerry Harvey-Cutter. He does a great job, and you know, I call him Mr. CIAA now. He's Mr. Salem CIAA. I think I saw Kerry somewhere here, but if he's here, that's another person I think has been very valuable in what we've been able to do as a CIAA and a Roanoke Valley family.
Talk about a big heart. I mean, I've known Kerry now for 12 years, and he does genuinely care about the CIAA and the success of the CIAA, and it's always been an honor to be able to work with him. And if you're looking for a man that's going to take care of the details, that's Kerry Harvey-Cutter, and that's why we want to keep you coming back.
We're glad that. Thank you so very much, both of you. Madam Mayor, Mr. Howard, thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you as the season goes on.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The Mayor of Salem, Renee Turk, and also Landon Howard, the President of Virginia Blue Ridge. Thank you very much again. Having done that, now it's time for us to get to some of the nitty-gritty, some of the reasons you came this afternoon, this morning, the predicted CIAA order of finish. We're going to do this a couple of ways. First of all, we're going to go in ascending order, 12-1. Then we're going to break it down by divisions, and you can simply see on the board there, St. Augustine's, the Mighty Falcons, preseason predicted number 11 in a tie with Livingstone. Lincoln followed at number 10. Johnson C. Smith with a new head football coach in Maurice Flowers at preseason number 9. Elizabeth City State with new coach Marcus Hilliard, preseason number 8. Winston-Salem State, the Mighty Rams, at number 7. At number 6 in the CIAA, Virginia State and head coach Henry Frazier, someone that's not new to CIAA football. Chawans at number 5. Shaw, preseason pick number 4. Virginia Union, preseason pick number 3. Fayetteville State, preseason pick number 2. And the preseason pick to win the CIAA for an unprecedented 4th CIAA championship, Kyle Jackson, the new coach there, and Bowie State University. Now, as it breaks down by divisions, it goes a little bit like this. In the CIAA North, preseason pick number 6 is Lincoln. Number 5, Elizabeth City State. Preseason pick 4, Virginia State. Number 3, Chowan. Preseason pick 2, Virginia Union. And preseason pick number 1 in the CIAA North, the Bulldogs of Bowie State. If you look in the South, it's real simple. A tie at number 5, St. Augustine's in Livingstone. Number 4, Johnson C. Smith. Preseason pick number 3, Winston-Salem State. At number 2, the Bears of Shaw University. And the preseason pick to make it another battle of North and South, Fayetteville State. Those are our preseason picks, predicted order, and we'll find out in a few weeks and months how accurate everybody is about that. Now for your 2022 CIAA offensive preseason all-conference team. And it goes a little bit like this. Tight end, Jeremiah Smith from Chowan. The offensive line, Tyrese Bobbitt from Shaw. Quentin Bobo, Bowie State. David Keck from Chowan. Mark Murphy, Bowie State. And Tavius Zachary from Shaw University. The wide receivers from Chowan University, a long line of great outstanding wide receivers in their history. Lawrence King. From Johnson C. Smith, Reggie Bryant. The quarterback, and we'll hear from him later this afternoon, Kyrie Lane from Fayetteville State. The running backs, 2 outstanding young backs. Jada Byers from Virginia Union, who was the CIAA Rookie of the Year on offense, and Sidney Gibbs. The kick returner, Zion Riddick from Elizabeth City, and Elton Andrew from Fayetteville State is your kicker. Now for your CIAA All-Conference team on the defensive side. The defensive line goes Isaac Anderson from Chowan University. Joshua Pryor, and you'll hear from him today as well, from Bowie State. Devin Cowan from Fayetteville State. Amani Burden from Virginia Union. The linebackers, and an outstanding group of linebackers. Tayshawn Taylor, Winston-Salem State. Zion Johnson from Virginia State. Wante Majette from Elizabeth City State. The defensive backs, Brandon Barnes-Brown, Fayetteville State. Ronte Dunbar from Lincoln. Elijah Banks from Winston-Salem State. Simeon Burns from Chowan. Your punt returner, Darius Bowman, Fayetteville State University. And Akil Lode, the punter from Lincoln. Your preseason all-conference team, your preseason predicted order of finish. My last little bit of business is, you're hearing about these great players. You want to see them. Got a great CIAA television schedule that will break out on October 15th with Lincoln at Elizabeth City, followed by Fayetteville State and Johnson C. Smith on the 22nd of October. On the 29th, Johnson C. Smith versus Winston-Salem, and on November 5th, the battle for the Acorn, Raleigh, North Carolina. St. Augustine's takes on Shaw. The CIAA championship will be right back here November 12th for the championship. You can also follow CIAA football with PRC Communications and also on the HBCU Go. So a lot of ways to watch these young student athletes hit the field and have some success and hopefully return here in November for the championship. With all those things out of the way now, it's time to get down to a little bit of business. It's nitty-gritty time. An opportunity to hear from the student athletes as well as the head coach of the 12 respective institutions. We'll start first with the Falcons of St. Augustine's University. Last year, they were 1-8 overall and 1-6 in conference play, led by new head coach and also director of athletics, Mr. David Bowser. Coach Bowser is being joined by Marcus Davis, and if the Mighty Falcons would come up to the front, so many things, so little time, we're going to go right to it. First full season on the field last year. You brought in a lot of kids. You took some bumps and bruises. A team that did not score a lot of points. Number 10 in offense last year, and total offense wasn't great either. But you saw some bright spots offensively. How does this team get better from last year to this year?
Well, the first thing is that last year when we got together on August 1st when we reported to camp, that was the first time we were together as a team. COVID pretty much had slowed us down for a year and a half. So we went through the season and we began to get better. We saw that by the end of the season. But spring practice, which was one of those things that we really needed to be able to do, and winter workouts helped us get better. So it carried into the summer. Marcus can talk on this. I think the guys began to get closer because they knew each other better, and we got a young core, but we got a good set of veterans in Marcus and some of the other guys, Thomas Washington. So we felt like this gave us an opportunity to finally gel.
That's a great segue, Marcus. Again, last year, 28 tackles, 3 sacks, had a huge game against Fayetteville State. You're coming back as one of the leaders. What from last year were you able to take over and make this season a better year?
Honestly, it's the attitude change. We know we're young, but we're not using that as an excuse. So we're kind of, and it's this thing that we kind of adopted over the spring. It's called Embrace the Hate. It's something I learned during a leadership conference, actually with the CIAA earlier this year. And honestly, we're just kind of pretty much embracing what we don't like. Let's take it in. Okay, it's not going to change. Let's focus on what we can change. So it's an attitude change, and it's an overall just, we don't want to feel like that again. So we're going to do what we got to do so we don't have to feel like that again.
With all the newness that you guys had, you weren't together for about a year and a half. You've had a whole lot of new faces. Now you've got a core of guys that you know you can look in their eyes and say, okay, we're in this together. Where does your leadership role take hold?
I understand that, I have a year or two left, so I'm just trying to pretty much portray my knowledge onto the younger guys and be that veteran player that can kind of help them out. It's the little things. It's some things that they don't see that that sometimes coach doesn't see that I'll see. So with me, just kind of my knowledge and my years of playing through college ball, just kind of passing that knowledge on and trying to instill an attitude of, yeah, we can win. We can do this. We can do this. We don't have to listen to everything outside. We can make our own history. So that's the thing I'm trying to establish.
So there's a lot of excitement on Oakwood Avenue.
A whole lot, yes, sir.
A lot of excitement.
Yes, sir.
Coach, tell me about, you mentioned a few guys. We've got Marcus here. DeAndre Proctor, is he back? I have to ask everybody this. It's not like we hadn't done our homework, but with transfers and people coming in and whatnot, you don't know who's on the roster till, that first weekend in September. So anyway, DeAndre Proctor, outstanding two-way player for you last season, was a quarterback at some time, also a wide receiver. Lee Sales, a linebacker return. Talk about those guys and some other guys we can keep our eyes on this season.
Well, I think the biggest thing is when you're looking at a young man like DeAndre Parker, he brings to the team on the offensive side of the ball an explosive player. And we're excited about what he's going to be able to do. Chris Perkins, who wound up winning the quarterback job, and the thing about Chris was when he came in last year, we signed him as a safety valve. In other words, if something happened, we got Chris Perkins. But by the third day of practice, the offensive staff said, Coach, that's our starting quarterback. And he proved it, and then he was out for about 2 weeks. And when he came back against Shaw, he did some things to really solidify what we believed. But also we have Donovan Brewington, who is really 1A, 1B. So on offense, I think that it starts with the quarterback position that Chris has established himself, but Donovan is going to push him every day. DeAndre Proctor has the ability to make plays. And on defense, it's up front. Marcus, Thomas Washington, those guys really established a lot of things because they come in with the experience that we need. And then on the backside, Jerron Hinton has a lot of potential on the flip side of just once everything begins to gel and we go through the spring and then we go into fall camp, people are going to see that we have some young talent that, as Marcus said, they're not using it as an excuse, but at the end of the day, there's nothing that replaces game experience. And with them getting that last year and having some of the feelings that we had after games, I can tell these guys really want to step it up a notch, and that's what I'm proud of them about.
How important was it to win that last game, especially that game against your rival, Shaw University? How much momentum did that carry over to winter workouts and now to where we are today?
Oh, it was immense, and I'll let Marcus speak on that. But the one thing we always talked about was everybody wants to go on a win streak. But how do you start a win streak? You got to win the first one.
Yeah.
And so when you look at going into the offseason, we're one of few teams in this conference that can say they won their last game. So that's the mindset that we take. Everything turns it into a positive. We tell ourselves we don't have to do anything. We're blessed. We get the opportunity to do things. Yeah. So when kids look at it from they're getting to play football, you're getting an education. When you're looking at it that way, your whole perspective change. And that's what's made the program better. That's what made this possibilities and the visions that we have for St. Augustine's on 1315 Avenue grow.
Quick question again before we let you go, and this is something that again. So you're cool. And you talked about the leadership. I heard you. I know what you're doing. But you're also the SAC president at St. Augustine's University. So how are you able to balance being the president, representing the student athletes of St. Augustine's University, football, and also carrying a very high GPA?
First things first is time management and prioritizing. You have to understand what your goal is, what your end goal is, not 5 years from now, but 30 years from now. So I'm starting now building that foundation and prioritizing in time management, and then we're moving on up from there. So really just having all these leadership roles is teaching me how to balance life when I'm, somewhere up 20 years down the road.
What's your major?
I'm a business major.
So you
yeah, my master's will be in public administration.
You got 2 more years or
yes,
one
sir.
more year?
2.
2. Coach said, as long as you keep playing and doing what you're doing, making tackles, you got 2 more years, right?
And already has his bachelor's degree.
Really?
Yes, sir. I just graduated this past April.
Congratulations.
What was that fancy word? You graduated something?
Oh, summa cum laude.
Yeah, that's that word. Yeah, he had to tell me what it meant.
And, of course, some of us up here graduated. Thank you, Lord. Yeah, we know. Or maybe Lord. Or in some people's case, questionably Lord.
Well, somebody said I have an honorary bachelor's.
Honorary, yeah, I understand. Before you go, you mentioned this. Open the season this year at Tusculum. Then you've got Limestone, a game you didn't play last year. That was the one COVID break you had. And then didn't think you'd ever get the season started, did you? And then you've got Virginia State, Bowie State. So September is very interesting in a lot of ways for you. I'd like to hear both of your guys' thoughts on the upcoming, the early schedule, and then the season in general. Coach, we'll start with you.
Well, I just think that everybody needs to understand that our conference is a great football conference. So the preparation for having to play Virginia State, Bowie, and VU is just immense. But we've got to get focused on representing the conference well against Tusculum and Limestone. So our number one priority is to establish what's already known. CIAA plays great football. And then the next thing is to get into those crossover games and do well against 3 teams that are well respected and have won championships and are proven. So it's a gauge to me to show where our program's moving to.
Excited about the upcoming season. Marcus?
So September to me just time to compete. It's trying to go work. It's trying to go prove ourselves. It's trying to go put SAU on the map. So that's all I see September as. It's time to go work.
You know what? I really have enjoyed watching you guys. You remember I came to that 6:30 practice. I was at that 6:30 a.m. practice that day. I just want you to don't forget that. Continued success. You're doing a great thing in the classroom. You're doing great things on the field, and I love you for it. So I appreciate everything you do. Coach Bowser, after that first year you got through it, everything is better. Coach told me, he said, this will be the last year we ever go first at this. So I said, okay, fine. Hey, I'm just up here just doing what God do. Gentlemen, thank you so very much. Say hello to everybody for me at St. Augustine's. If you'd like to talk to Marcus and Coach a little bit more or look out, set those interviews up. The CIAA SID of the year, Mr. Anthony Jeffries.
Yes, sir.
Where's Anthony?
Right there. Yes, sir.
Anthony. See Anthony as he escorts these gentlemen out, and they can set up other interviews. Thank you very much. The Mighty Falcons of St. Augustine's University. Thank you, guys.
I chose the School of Science, Mathematics, and Public Health at St. Augustine's University because I wanted to be in a small environment where I can interact with my professors and strengthen my knowledge to prepare myself for medical school. The School of Science, Mathematics, and Public Health is a very interactive and hands-on department. My name is Tanisha Milford. I am a biology major here at St. Augustine's University, and at SAU, I exceed expectations.
Next up, the Fighting Blue Bears of Livingstone College. For those of you that don't know, Livingstone and Johnson C. Smith, Biddle at the time, are the first school. Everybody can tell you whatever they want to about HBCU football, but Livingstone College and Johnson C. Smith now were the very first to play HBCU football. Again, a CIAA fact, okay? They were the first. So don't anybody fool you at any other media days, any other football. That's the first. And if you go on campus over on Monroe Street, you go down by the president's office, you'll see the marker. Just a little bit for history, those of you who want to know more about HBCU football. It all got started there. And getting started last year was Sean Gilbert. In his first year, 1-8, 1-5 in conference play, a team that struggled on offense a little bit. See, I wasn't going to say that. Offensively, but did have a lot of sacks. It was sixth best in the CIAA with sacks with 22, and was very efficient in the red zone. 19 of 33 allowing touchdowns. Jaden Eccles is with us. Mr. Eccles is an outstanding linebacker, one of the top 10 tacklers in the CIAA a year ago with 65, and was a member of the all-rookie team. Gentlemen, welcome. Coach, we talked about it, and we may as well go right there. I mean, offense, you guys struggled a little bit with it. Use your mic. Your mic? Oh, you said no. Okay, there we go. See, it's early. I had a joke right there, but I won't.
You could have played it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I had a joke. No. Look, offensively, what's getting done to put more points on that new blue turf?
I mean, well, first off, having a young team and coming in through the pandemic, you really don't know what to expect when you're building a program. And so for us, it's just like, what Coach Bowers is saying, with having new faces, you really don't know how to deal with that until you have your players with you on campus and begin to work with them. So for us, it was a learning and a growing experience for us. First year in college football, coaching also. So, I don't try to shy away from any of the criticisms or anything like that in terms of what we're trying to do at Livingstone College and really building a foundation and establishing a foundation of a winning tradition and getting back to representing being the first HBCU to play black college football against Biddle.
We'll come back to you on something real in a second, but let me get to Jade. Jade, playing, you got a new coach, former NFL All-Pro. So on the defense, it's got to make you excited to have a guy with his stature coaching you. What did you learn, and how are you now a better player, and how will that transition into this season?
So I learned a lot from him, like a whole lot. He taught us so many things about, just playing football in general, just learning, just being a student of the game and coming together and being teammates, working together. He does a lot for us, and he's a great coach for that. And I know this year we're going to be a better team this year. We're coming together.
Well, we were talking about it offensively being a little deficient, but the defense, especially the last 4 games, I thought you guys, because I saw you against Winston, and I thought you guys defensively, you were aggressive, you forced turnovers, you had some sacks around the ball. Do you guys feel a little bit of extra charge because you've got a guy that knows D as your defensive coach as well, that you can play
yes,
even
sir.
better?
Yeah, we definitely do. We knew from the beginning that we were going to be a stout defense. We knew that we were going to come in and be one of the best defenses in the whole CI. But this year, like I'm saying, we're going to be way better than we were last year because we're going to be more experienced. Last year was a lot of freshmen on the field. Now we're going to be experienced now, so they're going to be better this year. 22
sacks on the season, so it's good. What made the defense turn around second half of the season, especially after that St. Augustine's win?
I think that, from week to week, you're trying to encourage, especially when you're taking losses. So from week to week, it's very difficult trying to keep guys encouraged and keep them motivated, but you take the good from the bad, the lemons, you make lemonade. And just to say, I only had 2 coaches on defense last year, Coach Mark Williams and the assistant head coach, who's the associate head coach, and my assistant head coach, Mike Alston. So those 2 were the only 2, apart from any time I was able to come down there and contribute to helping them. So, but what they did was they didn't allow the negativity to set in, and they set a standard, and they walked that standard, and they played with that standard. So from week to week, anytime you can build confidence, it breeds confidence. And fortunately for us, by the end of the season, we were ranked 16th in the nation in Division II football, which I think is great for the CIAA. overall for what we're doing as a young program and growing and building these young men.
I think there's like 6 teams who are in the top 25 in the CIAA on the defensive side.
We hitting in the CI.
Yeah. Say what?
You know, we hitting. You know, clue.
Do what now? Do what now?
Yeah, we hitting. You know, it's clue. Like people think CIAA is not. You know, I think it's a lower brand of football, but you come in there, you're gonna get hit in the head by some grown men. I explained to my freshmen that, you know, you're not playing against 18-year-olds in PWIs. Some of these guys have a second chance at life and an opportunity, and they're coming with their passion. And so we instill and show our guys that, you know, you have to be ready. And my theory with our team is chance favors the prepared man. And so that is what our motto and how we stand and what we live by, what we walk by. So that attitude is what we bring to the conference, and the conference brings it back to us. So we expect to have an even bigger brand of football this season.
Who are some gentlemen that we can look forward to seeing this year?
Well, naturally,
other than Jaden, okay, we're going to talk to you about some stuff in a minute.
Not a lot to talk about in offense because it's a proven ground for us, and but defensively, Malik Head, who's ranked 17th in HBCU as a defensive tackle. We have some other young guys that we just transferred in, Andrew King, and then we just have a host of other young guys that we're developing still. We're still a young and green program, and so, you know, we just have great expectations. You know, somebody was talking to me about us being ranked. I can care less about that. You know, it's about what you're going to do on September 3rd, going all the way through to December.
September 3rd, that game, you're hosting Catawba, play Elizabeth City. I guess that's a Down East Classic. I guess it's going to be in Rocky Mount, so I'm assuming it's a Down East Classic. And then Virginia Union on the 17th. Jaden, speaking of that, you've got Catawba, the crosstown, right down the street rival, but you play a very challenging schedule. When you guys are getting ready to play and people maybe don't know the Livingstone brand right now, what are you trying to set? What are you saying to other teams about who we are, who you want to be, what you're going to do?
We're just going to prove it to them. We're just here just to prove it to them, to show them who we are. They think we're the underdogs right now. But when we actually go out there and we show them who we are, they're going to be scared of us. And so that's the mentality we're going to have going in. We're going to scare them. We're going to make them think about who the Blue Bears are.
We mentioned that you were one of the top tackles in the conference, had 65 and some pass breakups. What did you do since the season was over to today? How have you gotten better? What's been some of your workout routine or
my workout routine?
Or whatever you've done to get a little better?
Well, to be honest, I've been looking at way more film. That's the start of it. You gotta be smart in the game. You gotta know what you're looking at, know more about it. And right now, last year I wasn't experienced. Now I am. I'm gonna be running the defense way better than I was this year. So now I'm also bigger, I'm also stronger, and I'm going to be faster. So they're gonna have to be aware of that.
What do you feel are your strengths as a player?
Lateral quickness, sideline to sideline, and downhill run. They're not gonna care. They're not gonna stop me. And I shed blocks good. That's it.
You say what now?
I shed blocks.
You shed blocks real well?
Yes, sir.
They can't hit what they can't catch, right?
Yes, sir. You hit me.
That's what I know. All right, well, look, I got to ask both of you about this from a coaching standpoint and also a player. Tell me about the blue field and the track, but more so the flute. Blue field, is it ready? I mean, we're rocking and rolling now?
Well, the field is almost finished. They're finishing up the track. They'll be putting the lines down, and for us, it's a great opportunity. It's a great recruiting tool for us. It's a great encouragement to our players to have opportunity to see change, and be a part of change. So for us, we're excited about going out, playing Catawba first game. We're not concerned about wins and losses. We're focusing on competition and let the results be what they may.
I know you want to make the first tackle from scrimmage. I know. I already know. So what's that first hit going to be like?
It's going to be loud. It's going to be loud. That's all I got to say. It's going to be loud. You're going to hear that clunk. Like
yeah, I like that. Clunk. Is that? I'm not even going.
Don't play with it.
I love you. I love you.
Yes.
Clunk. I like that. Every game I Livingstone, I want to hear that. I want to hear that.
Yeah.
Both of you, what do you have to do to get better? What will it take to get Livingstone in the CIAA championship game? I'll start with you, Jaden, and then Coach, you can close that for us.
Leadership, that's one thing. We come together as leaders. We show everybody how it is to be a leader, and just gelling together as a team. You need teamwork to be a great team. And so I feel like once we get our team together and we start thriving together, we start playing together, doing everything together, we're going to come out, we can win the champ.
What's your major?
Math education.
Math.
He's a 4.0 student.
Say what?
He's a 4.0 student.
Really?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So obviously with math, you know those angles of where running backs are going to be, so it makes it even easier, right?
Yes, sir.
I like that. How much more eligibility do you have?
3 more years.
Yeah, 3 more. So it's a lot left in it.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to that. You're doing good things. Coach?
I think for us, we just have to be humble, work hard, pay attention to detail, and give ourselves the chance to compete. And so my focus with our incomings and the returners will be mentally getting them prepared. We only have about 3 weeks when they get in, so our task as coaches is going to be pretty big. But, when you're at the bottom and you're fighting from the top, what's too big to take on?
Real quick, and I got a minute. What do you think was your biggest takeaway from coming from where you were to having that first year and trying to get the season off the ground, and now, year 2?
I think that, the biggest thing I take away is, one, and I come into the CIAA and I used last year to learn.
Okay.
I think in anything, when you're embarking on something new, you need to know the lay of the land and know how to go about, how you walk, talk, and stride through the streets. So for me, it was about learning, and I take that. I talk to coaches in the conference, and I glean from them. So be a student of the game and go from there. And so I know we'll be a better football team this year. I know we'll be much more competitive this year. And I know Coach said that he ain't gonna be on the bottom again, but that's what we all saying.
Yeah, this is the talking season. This is the talking season, so it is. You got to be on the field.
That's right.
I tell you what, with your background and your football reputation, not to say anything different about any other coaches, but saying you and where you've been, that's really good for Livingstone and for the CIAA, and so continued success and continued hard work.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Gentlemen, thank you. God bless. I'll see you soon. I can't wait to get on that blue field and hear the what? What's that sound again?
Coot, coot.
Clue.
Who you with?
Thank you. The crew from Livingstone. Thank you very much, Jaden. Okay, without further ado, the Lions from Lincoln University, 1-9 last year, 1-6 overall. Head coach Joshua Dean, and he brings with him Eric Best, who was one of those top tacklers on their team and also in the conference with 34 tackles. Had an interception and had a couple of solid ball games, 8 tackles against both Lock Haven as well as against Shaw. So, gentlemen, thank you for being here and welcome.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
I'm going to start with Eric just because he looks like he's ready to tell me something. Look, man, has it been as good of off season as I've been hearing, that you guys have really been working and ready to prove some points?
I do think it's been a good off season, but I think the pivotal part of our off season was just coming together as a team. I don't want to say we were kind of apart as a team, but last year we were somewhat divided. It was more of an offense-defense thing. This year we became brothers. That was our focal point. Right after the Chawan game, we decided to do more activities together and just become closer as a unit.
Good deal. Coach, offensive, as I said to Coach Dean a second ago, and it's got to tell the truth here. Offensive deficiencies, and defense played very hard, but had some games where you gave up some points. But then you found ways, and you had 10 interceptions you forced. So, where do we start on the offense to get more points on the board and hear the Lions roar a little bit in 22?
Well, I believe that it started with, from a coach's standpoint, we got to look at ourselves. We got to look at what we're doing to make the information as teachers. At the end of the day, we're teachers, right? We have to make sure that we're judged upon how well our players respond to the teaching, what we're trying to do as far as schematic, what we teach as far as philosophy, the style of play. We made some changes, some difficult changes at the end of the season to bring some new staff members in. And like Eric said, it was more about being better communicators as far as what we want, what we expect from them as players, what they expect from us as coaches and leading. And, as a defensive-minded coach, that's my background. I had to not just be a defensive coach. Coach Turner, Coach McCray done a great job with the defense. Decided to help move over with the offense and help a little bit more as far as the communication aspect. And, Coach Tom Manley, who we brought as offensive coordinator, came in and done a great job as far as getting the guys to understand that he's here for them. And I think that's the biggest thing when we talk about not so much the divisiveness, but just the onus of you have someone here for you, and when we started with the X's and O's and it started with the workouts and we got out to the field and just the understanding, we had a young team offensively, and, that was their first time playing college ball. So for them to go through those experiences, for them to learn, and then for them to execute. And I think that was the biggest thing. We just found a better way to teach these guys so they can learn and how to play fast. As an athlete, former athletes, we just want to play fast. And we just want to get out there and go. And it's the level of understanding that we have of what we're trying to do.
Eric, you are one of those leaders of this football team. There are a couple other guys that I'm going to ask Coach about in a second on the defensive side. Where are your strengths on this team, and where do you think they will be best seen this year? How will people see what you're doing?
I think, my main strength is tackling, but I think another one of my good strengths is being able to cover the field. I think that they'll be able to see it better because last season I did get hurt. I got hurt against Elizabeth City, so I sat 3 games, and I was able to see things from a coach's perspective, and it just helped me see things in a broader aspect, to be able to make plays, and dissect plays before the play even happens. So when I say I'll be able to cover the field, I can look at it. I can look at a formation, and I can see, okay, I know the ball is going here. So I just feel like, that helped me a lot. And just training in the off season and working on them different skills is going to be able to show this season.
What's harder for you, or easier, I should say, run support or being in coverage?
What's easier?
Yeah.
I'd say being in coverage. We have 2 outstanding corners in Ronte Dunbar and Kentrell Pierce, and they allow us to do so much more as a defense, being able to play man coverage and just take X their guy out of the game. So it allows me to do more, knowing that I have 2 corners on each side that I can count on, and they don't need no help.
That's good. Well, he's mentioned one of the guys I was going to ask you about, Ronte Dunbar. Devin Cathcart, is he back with you as well, or is he?
Unfortunately, he's not back.
All right. Okay, we moved. There you go. That's what we're here for.
Unfortunately, yeah.
All right, but Dunbar's back.
Yes, sir.
Who else can we talk about on the defense? And then I do want to press you about the offense and who's some guys offensively, but defensively.
Defensively, obviously Eric Best, and we talked about Ronte. Kentrell Pierce did a heck of a job. He was beat up a little bit last year, but had a lot of success. In the middle, we returned Makai Beasley, who was a all CIAA freshman. Who
had 3 big sacks for you last year.
3 big sacks,
yeah.
And he was consistent as a freshman and has done a lot of great things. We have Derek McCoy, who made a lot of plays for us, and somebody that we're expecting a lot, that we're going to ask a lot more from, is Darius Sterling, who's going to man the middle of that defensive line for us. So, you know, we have some guys out there that have had some experience, made some plays last year, had a great, very competitive spring, and we're excited to see what they're going to do as we go forward.
Akil, AJ, Ledet, CIAA, you know, special teams player of the year, strong leg, good accuracy. That's got to help you say, okay, we get inside the 30, we get inside the 40, we got a chance of getting some points on the board.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you look at it, it's complementary, right? Special teams and defense and offense. But I believe that what AJ was able to do as far as to flip the field a lot to help us, I mean, statistics show when we're able to flip the field and the defense was able to start on the opponent's 30, you know, we played good ball, forcing the team have to drive down. And I think that's the one thing that we wanted to clean up with AJ. He was strong. He could kick a deep field goal, but just working on more of his accuracy, and he's been working on that a lot. But the kid has a strong leg. It's definitely a weapon for us. 3 years left of eligibility. Hopefully nobody comes calling anytime soon, because he does do a lot of different camps, and he's getting a lot of exposure for what he's done. But, you know, much like Eric here is a great mentor. We have younger kickers, and he's, you know, we call him de facto coach because he's an older guy, but he has a lot of experience, and, you know, when he's on, he's on. So we're excited about that, and that's a true weapon for us on special teams.
Averaged about 43 yards a kick, had 10 kicks, 50 yards or better last season. So, yeah, if he can flip the field, that makes it a lot easier for you on the other side, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Eric, first two schools that have been up here have been schools that, you know, were preseason lower rated. And one of the guys said, you know, you're not going to underestimate us much more. Do you guys look at Lincoln, you know, Lincoln, the furthest school north, nobody knows a lot about you sometimes, that people kind of take you for granted, and so when you hit them in the mouth, it kind of wakes them up? I mean, is that part of your motivation to prove who you are?
Well, I would start off by saying preseason rankings are exactly what they are. They're preseason rankings. They're based off of last season. So nobody really knows what anybody's going to do this coming season, and nobody knows what Lincoln has this coming season. Last year, I will say that we did shock a lot of people with our defense, and I think we're going to shock a lot of people overall this year. So
you did get, you know, a preseason first place vote, which you know kind of looks a little, you know, different. You know, you got preseason vote there, and you know picked at the bottom. So that's a compliment. I mean, you got something going on up there, right?
Yeah, I mean, I always believe it starts with self-belief, right? So, I mean, you know, and it's funny we had this ride because we had a 6-hour drive down here.
Yeah.
And we had a lot to talk about from player to coach and administrator. You know, the thing is just self-belief. I mean, if I can't preach these guys to believe in themselves after and how we change the culture. Everybody talk about how are you going to change something that you go that's never had anything. You just got to do it. And if you've never been rich, you never had this, you never had these opportunities, never had success, you have to create it yourself. The only way you can stop a bully is step up to a bully, slap him in his face. And, you know, you have to prepare yourself. I heard Coach talk about preparation. That's all we've done. I mean, spring is huge. It seems like a lifetime away. Nobody's excited about fall camp more than myself and our players. And we're just excited to show what we got. We have, you know, I heard somebody talk about that stick. We're ready. I ain't gonna talk a lot. I thought, you know, me and you'll talk. But I ain't gonna say too much. But we're just excited about it, man, and we love to compete. I mean, our conference in the North is a beast.
Yeah.
It ain't no easy walk in the North. So the schedule's always gonna be what it is. So the only way you're gonna do it is be able to attack it. And this has been one of the first years, probably the year that I've been at Lincoln where I look at our schedule and I'm excited about it because I know last year we learned to compete. I mean, we didn't win. You know, obviously we had one victory, but we learned to compete. And it goes in phases, you know. I've been here, this has been going to my 4th season. And, you know, but I've seen incremental growth. You know, it started with retention of players, how we recruit, and the development and staff. And I can say that we hit on all those boxes going into this year. So I'm just excited about it. Great to fellowship with coaches. I see these coaches, I mean, me and Coach Jones probably been at the hip for all off season. So it's great to see these guys and learn from each other and things like that. I'm going to miss Coach Wilson more than anybody as I helped him pack his bag to leave. But excited, you know, a lot of fellowship with that as well.
Well, you mentioned the schedule. You opened the season versus Delaware State, and then you've got Central State and Fayetteville State. And like I said, we'll see you later on in the season, so it's good. Last word's going to go to you, Mr. Best, because you like to put the stick on. What's the best thing, what's the thing that people don't know and the good thing about Lincoln University? Why Lincoln?
Well, first I'll start off by saying we are the first HBCU. But,
right. Not Cheney, but you.
Right. Us, it's us.
First HBCU, first team to play. CIAA owns them both, right?
Correct.
That's what I like.
A lot of people, we are in the middle of nowhere, so a lot of people don't really know about Lincoln. One thing I can say about Lincoln, and Lincoln is a great school. Lincoln has a lot of different opportunities for when you leave, you will be successful. Lincoln has great athletics. We have great facilities. But again, these are a lot of things that people outside of Lincoln don't really know about. So I just feel like, you know, once we can start to market ourselves a little better, people will be able to see what we have in store at Lincoln.
A lot of great history at Lincoln University, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
A lot of great history. Gentlemen, I know you're going to make some history this year. I look forward to watching you play as always. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your efforts. You're doing a great job in the classroom, I understand. Coach Dean, Josh Dean, we make certain that, you know, I know that's going to be it. I'm not even going to play with that right now. I got you.
You know.
Yeah, I know you. But thank you very much. Say hello to everybody up there in Pennsylvania for us, and we look forward to seeing them. Congratulations on a great season last year and the other sports, and we look forward to following you this year in football.
Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
This is Lincoln University, the nation's first degree-granting historically black college and university. Lincoln educates and empowers students to lead their communities and change the world. We invite you to come tour the campus today. Arrange your tour at lincoln.edu. Lincoln University, learn, liberate, lead.
Head coach Maurice Flowers of the Golden Bulls, Johnson C. Smith, along with Jamonte Gray, the Golden Bulls, and now they got a new nickname. We can call him Sox, for being here with us today. Johnson C. Smith University, Golden Bulls, 1-7 a season ago and 1-5. And Coach Flowers is not a stranger to CIAA. He's been an offensive coordinator at a couple of places. Was the head coach a season and a half ago down at Fort Valley, and had an abbreviated spring season and won some games, and had a full season, went 5-5, and now is back, you know, at Johnson C. Smith, his home, his alma mater. And Coach Flowers, it is good to see you, and welcome back.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. It's great to be back home. It's great to be back in the CIAA. Not just as a former coach, but also as a former player. And it just feels good. It feels good to get back in the city and to be around my family full time now. Just so many positives, and we're looking forward to building forward.
You took the job in mid-January. It was formally announced, and I saw you at a basketball game. You know, I had my mask on, you know, separated seats and all the stuff we had to do late in the year. And, you know, it was like, hey, I'm getting ready to go here. You were gone. You were like, you were in and out. You were been busy. It's been a whirlwind, I'm imagining, since the time you got the job to this point. What are the new goals? Obviously to win, obviously to play in Salem on the 12th. But what are the new goals for Johnson C. Smith football?
Our goals are really simple. It's just coming together cohesively and building every day, and just coming and looking to improve every single day. Those are winning things. Just being consistent at doing the right thing every single day, and that's from we have a motto called "Everything Every Day," and that's from when you wake up to when you go to bed. What are you doing to produce championship outcomes? And I'm just so pleased with. First off, got to say the administration with their commitment to us being a successful football program. We're getting new facilities, and really you look at Johnson C. Smith, our location, in one of the best cities in the United States, in Charlotte, North Carolina, which supports us. And the city's behind us, and I'm just excited about all of the positive feedback that we've been gaining. Now, it's up to us as a coaching staff and a program to put a quality product on the field, and we're looking forward to it.
Jamonte, new coach, new excitement. What's the spring been like for you after having played a season in CIAA where you had some success, had some good football games? You know, I think of one specifically was the Winston-Salem game, about 7 or 8 tackles. But where are you right now?
I'm blessed for real, like just having this guy, Coach Flowers, like just bringing that energy. This past spring, it was business, you know what I'm saying? Like just learning the new system, buying into the process, learning all these new faces and building these relationships, and that's where I have to start out. First, coaches come with problems, come with situations that we have to deal with. You have to learn, our coaches have to learn these people at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely enjoyed the process, you know what I'm saying? And we definitely grew with each other, you know what I'm saying? Bonded as a family. And that's all it was, learning the system, but it was more just learning each other. And that was the successful part about us this semester.
And we're not giving away any trade secrets right now, but what do you think your role will be now? You're going to be more of a movement linebacker? You're going to be kind of see and hit now? What adjustments have you made for the better, or will you make?
I'm actually type hybrid. I'm on the edge. I play linebacker. I definitely made a big transition coming into college. I was an interior defensive lineman, actually. I was 280 pounds in the interior, and that's what it was like. I played linebacker my first time last year, just learning it and buying into it. And then Coach Flowers and Coach Barry Trips came, and they really showed me what it's like to learn a defense, you know what I'm saying? Just learning the play style, you know what I'm saying? I'm more of a football player. I feel like I'm more of a football player, educated, and that's what I feel so more knowledgeable about the game. And that's why I feel like I'm gonna be more effective as far as just not just playing fast. And I play fast, but actually knowing where the ball is going.
Sounds good. Coach, when I think of you, I think of fast-paced offense, putting the ball in the air, versatile run game. It's an offense last year that only averaged about 14 points a ball game, which was 8th best in the conference. Conversely, it was a defense that gave up about 30 points a game. You got a guy here that's excited about new things and is looking to hit stuff. So what is the emphasis, or what was the early emphasis in the spring? Offense or defense?
Everything. Offense, defense, and special teams. When we came in, we didn't really get into what the record had been or what we do know. I mean, and I'm a graduate. I can talk about the university, is that we haven't had football success on a consistent basis. And, you know, our first thing is we're coming in, we're going to do winning things. I don't know what 1-7 looks like, 1-8, and I'm not going to get used to it, and we're not preparing for that. So we got ready to play championship ball at all 3 phases, offense, defense, and special teams. We're going to be a fast-paced offense. That hasn't changed. It's going to revolve around quarterback play. We've got some good weapons. Was really surprised that the offensive line, I didn't expect the offensive line to have as many quality ball players that were in place. Defensively, giving up over 30 points, but I'm very confident, first off, in the defensive staff and in Coach Barry Tripp, Winston-Salem State graduate.
Oh, yes.
Coached at Winston-Salem State. Of course, he was at Fayetteville State as a defensive coordinator also. So, and went to Fort Valley State with us, and he's our defensive coordinator, and I know 30 points a game won't go with us. So we're just excited. And then our special teams, we've recruited some good kickers, love our returners, and we've done a pretty good job recruiting. So I like our athleticism that's going to be coming in. I like what's in place, and we're just looking forward to getting to camp and doing some winning things because you know, I think we'll compete at a higher level.
You're talking about the offense. Tell us a little bit about Reggie Bryant.
Well, extremely extremely talented, and I really like how he has grasped the system. And I tell you, with Reggie, it's really been easy for the offense and particularly Reggie to buy in, because all the film that he watches is of a receiver named Shamar Bridges that played in this offense last year that's in camp right now at the Baltimore Ravens. And he has those types of dreams and aspirations. So when he's able to look at film of this offense and see that guy running around and he'll be playing that same position, it's easy to be motivated. And he's been a self-starter. He's been a leader along with Jamonte, and these guys come to work every day, and that's the thing. It's just being consistent every day about what you bring to the table.
Jamonte, real quick, you're a kid that you're talking about recruiting coaches and an alum of Johnson C. Smith. You're from the Charlotte area, went to North Mecklenburg High School. Mm-hmm. How important is it for you to play at a school that's right next door, right down the highway from your home, and to get people involved in the community with Johnson C. Smith? How exciting is that for you?
I smile a lot, like coming from Charlotte, being from Charlotte, you don't see too many like kids that has aspirations of going to college and want to play in their hometown. You know what I'm saying? So seeing kids and wanting to, we're going to take football away from it. Coming to college and wanting to get your education in your hometown is big for me, you know what I'm saying? It was bigger than football, and I love my HBCU, you know what I'm saying? So, seeing student athletes and come get their education, not only come get their education, but play and look at their city outside the stadium, man, it's big and it's love for me. I'm from Badersford, where my university is sitting on, so it's definitely love for me, and I'm excited, and they're excited. I'm seeing smiles on their face.
What's your major?
Criminal justice.
So what do we want to do with that after we get out of Johnson C. Smith?
My plan is to start a security firm. My minor is cyber intelligence.
Really?
Yes, sir.
All right. That's all right.
Yes, sir.
That's all right. That's that. So you not only you want great athletes on your team, but you want guys that can think, right? You want to try to ambitious.
That's what studies have shown. The smarter your football team, the better your team. We're bringing in over 55 freshmen, and of those 55, there's 30 plus that have over a 3.0 GPA. So we're not just recruiting good football players, we're recruiting good student athletes, and that's really where it starts for us. When you have a smarter football team, they can retain more information, they can do more, and so that's been our focus, and it's just been a pleasure. I mean, we have mandatory study hall, just different things where we're interacting and just making sure that education is first, because football really, if you've got to want to, that's going to be the easy part, but it's the other things that come with time management and handling your academics and tutoring and still having a personal life in college. And you mentioned Johnson C. Smith and Charlotte and being excited about it. I'm a Charlottean also, much like Jamonte. Did not go to North Meck High School, but went to East Mecklenburg High School and lived in a neighborhood called Greertown. So being in Charlotte and having a chance to bring success to our university and the city is just, it's a great opportunity.
Jamonte, you excited about this early season? Bluefield State away at Allen, then at Chowan. First home game is going to be against Lincoln. So the first 4 ball games, new head football coach playing one of those games at home, but there's a lot of excitement over there on Badersford Road, right?
Yes, sir. It's going down.
It's going down. All right, I'm gonna hold you to that. Gentlemen, I love to talk to you. I'll be over there. I'll be over there, and I got a whole bunch of things I gotta grab, so I'm not even worried about it. If you want to talk more to these young people here, head coach Maurice Flowers in his first year, and also Mr. Jamonte Gray, all you got to do is see the lady in the gold shirt over there, Miss Aurelia Washington. 2 or 3 times CIAA SID of the year, and if she wasn't, she's going to tell you she should have been, so it don't matter. But Aurelia is one of the best out here. Saw something yesterday we'd never seen before. If anybody went to the little dinner, the cookout, whatnot we had afterwards, those of you that saw it, we saw Aurelia with the thing around her neck and a spatula in her hand, flipping burgers and handing out food. Never seen you did it. Didn't know you had any cooking skills. God bless you. We love you for that. Aurelia Washington, Coach Flowers, Jamonte Gray, the Golden Bulls of Johnson C. Smith. Thank you, gentlemen.
At JCSU, we hold high the gold and blue. From academics to athletics, students experience all that a historically black university has to offer. Vibrant campus, active Greek life, intellectual rigor, and a sense of family and pride that keeps alumni coming back to the Queen City year after year for homecoming. JCSU students, Faculty and staff continue to set the bar high, producing Forbes Under 30 scholars and creating the first pathway to lactation consultant training program at an HBCU. JCSU, where you become yourself and change our world.
Okay. Elizabeth City State Vikings, 3-7 a season ago, 3-3 in conference play. Person that doesn't need an introduction, easy for me to say, for Elizabeth City State, but Mr. Marcus Hilliard was an all-conference performer, part of some of those championship teams for Elizabeth City under the legendary head coach Waverly Tiller, and Mr. Zion Riddick, one of the outstanding wide receivers, not only in the CIAA, but in the nation as a punt returner as well. So, gentlemen, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Stan. Definitely.
Wow. Wow. Do you take this moment and just kind of look around? And, you know, Coach Flowers has been a head coach, even though he's returned his alma mater. But I know how special this is for you. You were defensive coordinator, I should say, at Elizabeth City, as well as at Virginia Union before taking the head job at Elizabeth City.
Yeah, being out, coming to these events every year, just seeing the other head coaches, knowing that this was somewhere I wanted to be. And being right here is surreal, and, it's amazing. And I'm definitely glad to be here. But I can't say, and shout out to Coach Tiller, just for, training us up and putting us in this position to be here. Just a legendary Elizabeth City State University coach. But being in this position on this stage this early, I have issues with that, So I take that into account, being up here this early with you, and
oh, you don't want to be here?
I do, but not this early.
Okay, okay, you'll be later in the day.
Yes, sir. Because I know what that means. But, as for me as being the head coach, just excited to, lead the team and grateful to have this opportunity.
Zion, what's it like for you now coming in with a coach that not only has a great defensive acumen, but also was an alum of the institution that you're playing for? Is there even more passion now to get things turned around up there in Viking land?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy that Coach is with us. He really came in and let us know his expectations, and the guys really going to go hard for him on the field. So I'm excited to have Coach with us.
Talk to me, both of you, real quickly about this comment. This is something I watched your media day, and got new administration, a lot of new things, Elizabeth, we'll talk about in a minute. But you said, restore the culture, a new era at Elizabeth City State University. What's that mean to you? And then, Coach, you come up there and clean it up. Gotcha. What's that mean to you, Zion?
So I say, Coach Hilliard, he's going to come in and not create just a football team to compete on Saturdays. He's going to build a program which can compete for Saturdays to come, for years to come. So I'm excited to see him build a foundation that Elizabeth City can build on.
Yeah, he said it right. Just building the program. I think when I said that, as you mentioned before, just being here at Elizabeth City previously, we had a good run. You saw the run that we were on, and wanted to get that same feel, with me coming back as a head coach. So just trying to restore that program, and just trying to restore the program and just get us back to prominence. And as you mentioned, got great administrators, just starting off with our Chancellor Dixon, just being instrumental in providing the things that we need to get us back on track, and also bringing in A.D. DeBose, he's coming in, he's excited. So just putting the pieces together to get us back where we need to be.
Offensively, you struggled, but defensively, you gave up points, but it was almost like you gave them up in spurts. There were games when I look back on tape and look at numbers where it's like the defense was totally different. It was like the old Viking defense. And then there were other days where there were holes in the ship. So coming in now, what was the first thing, among other things, that you had to try to fix?
Getting some consistency, just like you said. Some games we were good, some games not so good. So just establishing a schedule and making sure everything is consistent, not just defensively, just with the program. Mm-hmm. Just making sure that, we are on schedule. I tell the guys all the time, just being doing an internship with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Mike Tomlin always mentioned the standard is the standard. And, just creating that culture with the guys. So just bringing in that type of system for our defense and just making sure that everybody's accountable and that we're consistently doing the right things every day.
This is the longest I've ever seen him sitting still. Every time he's just moving, he's fast, and the grease lightning, number 23. I like that. You got the number in front of you so people see what's coming at you. Then you're gone by. But one of the best kick returners in the conference and in the nation last year had that big 80-yard return against Jawan, but also an outstanding wide receiver of over 40 catches and 5 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns actually. What do you like best about both of those positions? Kick return, you're out there by yourself. Wide receiver, it's you against a DB.
Well, for kick returning, I'd say the guys really, they block for me, man. The scheme that we go with, it really has a great effect. And I'd say on the offensive side of the ball, particularly this year, I feel like I'm going to be more involved more than ever as I have been since I've been at Elizabeth City. I really think that the scheme is going to work and how I like to play.
You don't mind going deep, do you?
Nah, I go deep. I just like to get the ball in my hands and make plays. So.
Jamonte Majette.
Wanye.
But Freeman, Saunders, the guys. Who are some other guys that we can expect to see as the year goes on? And I always ask that with kind of a loaded question because we just know so many things are going on right now.
Well, we have some pieces. Of course, as you mentioned, Wanye, and just saw that he made first team. And I saw a post the other day, they call him the mayor of Roebuck. So I thought that was pretty funny. But as you mentioned, Freeman and Sanders and Hayes, Yelverton offensively, Freshwater defensively. So we got some pieces that we're excited about.
Okay. Okay. Never mind. Is that who I think it is?
Maybe.
Okay. It's going to be a good season. It's going to be interesting up there in Roebuck Stadium, right?
Yes, sir. Definitely.
You come back, and you're the head coach. You're at the place where you played and had success. When you sit back and really think about it, when the lights are off or you turn the lights on in the stadium, you stand out there in front of that Viking head at the 50-yard line, what goes through your mind?
It's special. When I was a player, the players used to joke with me and say, man, you're going to be the head coach at Elizabeth City. And, at that time you don't think about it, but, reality hits. You are the head coach at Elizabeth City. And, I'll tell you this funny thing. When I first, went to the office, I went into the office and I said, oh man, this is Tilla's office. And not knowing that, no, this is my office. I'm the head coach. So it's surreal, but.
No, it's still Tilla's office.
But it's surreal, but, just excited and just overjoyed to be the head coach at Elizabeth City State.
There's a great history, Zion, at Elizabeth City State University, not only on the football field, but throughout athletics and the institution. When you put that Viking blue uniform on, beyond obviously trying to win, what sense of pride do you get for playing at Elizabeth City State University?
I always talk about the alumni. Like, we have our ups and downs, but homecoming down east, which are like 2 of our biggest games, they always support us. They always, show up in number, and I just love that about ECSU. They always gonna support you, and it just give you that sense of pride and want to go out and just risk it every play to go hard.
Open the season with Benedict, at Benedict, Livingstone's the Down East Viking Classic in Rocky Mount. Great event. Absolutely great event. Winston-Salem State. I'll see you later in the season, it looks like. Real quickly, your thoughts on that very first game at Benedict as you, the head coach?
We're ready. Coming out and, once you get past all the pomp and circumstance, it's about football. And it's about executing on offense, defense, and then special teams. So we're ready for that challenge, and, I'm ready to go.
Gentlemen, I thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you play as the year goes on. Say hello to everybody for me up at Elizabeth City State University.
Will do. I appreciate it.
In addition to a new head football coach at Elizabeth City State, Mr. Dubose, and make sure I get that plug in because he's promising me a lot of stuff. Mr. Dubose is the new athletic director, but Chris Sawyer, where's Chris? Chris Sawyer is the new SID at Elizabeth City. So, if you need to talk to these gentlemen anymore, see Chris. Chris, wave your hand, raise your hand here, right here. Chris Sawyer is the new sports information director, and Chris can take care of anything you need to know. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you again. Zion Riddick, Marcus Hilliard, the Mighty Vikings of Elizabeth City State University. With me today from Winston-Salem State is Mr. Robert Massey, head coach Mr. Massey, and Mr. Kendall Graves, who's been up here on the stage as many years as I have. So, we got people that we know, so this is a good thing. Gentlemen, it's good to see you both.
Well, it's good to be back.
Yeah. Last year was just a strange year. Not only having to fight COVID and all that and trying to get a team on the field, but your team, it was a tale of basically two seasons. An ugly season, a disappointing season, a shocking season, and then a complete turnaround that gives you momentum to start the year. Where are we now at Winston-Salem State?
Well, we got a lot of momentum now. We got some additional coaches added to the staff. Obviously, me getting the new deal, that's helped us from a recruiting standpoint. It's put us in position. We'll bring in about 40 freshmen, and we'll bring about 20 transfers. We want to build this program, basically starting over. But at the same time, we're going to compete for a championship every week that we go out to play. We want people to think that's not our goal, that's not our plan. So, but because of this new thing called the transfer portal, it's causing a lot of strife at the Division II level in particular, where normally these kids will get scholarships, but because so many schools are going after the transfer guys, they're taking money away from the high school guys. So what we're trying to do is we're going to build this thing through the high school. We're going to obviously have to dibble and dabble a little bit in the portal, but at the end of the day, we want to be 70-30 high school players, and we're going to get them to our campus and develop them from a standpoint of the Winston way, what we want to do from a strength and conditioning standpoint, from an educational standpoint, from a offensive, defense, and special team standpoint. This is our goal.
So at October date, where you hit rock bottom, everything is moved back to the top. I guess, speaking of transfer portal, and I try not to touch on that too much because we're more concerned about who's here and not who, but to have a guy like Kendall around, a veteran player that's doing it in the classroom. I think you've already graduated.
Yes, sir.
It's gotta make you feel good that he decided to stay because he had a chance to go somewhere. So Kendall, what made you decide to stay at Winston-Salem State another year? Because I know there were some opportunities.
What made me stay at Winston was really just because I wanted to play for Coach Massey. He's done a lot for me, so I wanted to be able to do as much as I can for him. Also didn't want to have any regrets leaving the field when I know I still have time to play, so I just wanted to make the most of what I got. So.
We go back a long way. And you and your brother and your family is outstanding. And I'm not trying to make a joke here, but I think there's something that's important that needs to be said about you guys. And we mentioned there was a very, very disappointing loss. Not going to go into that any other, but it was a situation where there were arrows being thrown every direction imaginable. How did you, as a player, look your teammates in the eye and decide this is it, and we're going to now unify? Because controversy, adversity can build you up or tear you apart. And as a leader, and I saw you after that game, and you had this look about yourself. So take me through that time to get this thing turned around. What you can share, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I think it's very interesting to know as you develop a program, sometimes you got to take some steps backwards to take steps forward.
Yes, sir, definitely.
For me, I just try to have a short memory. Once the game's over, there's nothing else you can do about it. The clock hits 0. There's no changing it. It is what it is. You got to move on to the next week. That's what I tried to tell everyone else. Of course, you're upset about the loss and whatnot, but you can't linger on it. You just got to keep moving forward.
Was this one of those times where you had, as a leader, as a senior leader, had to look in some teammates' eyes and make them make the commitment?
Yes, sir, definitely. You definitely have players that look back on the loss and still talking about the loss, but you just gotta get them to snap out of it, keep moving forward. Like I said,
is that a motivator now for not only the season but also for life?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're always gonna face adversity. It's about what you do with it after. You got punched in the mouth, you got to swing back. So,
you guys are ready to swing.
Yes, sir.
That's the plan.
Tell me some of the guys that we can expect to see. I know that Banks and Taylor are going to be leading the defense, and we were talking to Livingstone about how their defense got better the last 4 games. Your defense definitely improved. I think the last 5, after the game in October, I think you guys only gave up like maybe 35, 38 points, something like that. You had 2 shutouts, I know.
Right.
So take me there.
Well, one thing, defensively, we did hone in, and we started giving up an average about 12 points after the game against Ciaa, the one that you're referencing. And then offensively, we were able to start scoring an average about 21 to 25 points a game. So we got the program turned around and headed in the right direction. Again, with the guys, we had quite a few guys to graduate, and you got a guy like Kendall who's coming back after he's graduated, like his brother Dom, to want to finish what we plan on doing, and we started, which is trying to be a champion. Our goal is to defend the legacy. This will be our 80th year of football at WSSU. And you can go back as far as Coach Hayes and all the way up to this point, all those coaches have had championships. So we want to defend the legacy by getting back in that position, being in a position to week in and week out compete for a championship. And with that, we brought in some guys. You mentioned Banks, you mentioned Taylor. Taylor's graduated, and he's actually gotten an opportunity in the workplace, so he won't be returning.
Oh, it's not?
But you know, we still have Kalen Allen coming back, who's a former all-conference linebacker as well. And we're bringing in a few high school guys. I heard somebody just say good, but you know, but again, that's a defensive coach. But again, you know, we got quite a few guys that are coming back, but we're bringing in, like I said, about 40 freshmen and about 25 transfers to get a good mix. And we're going to miss those guys, and we appreciate the things that they've done. But at the end of the day, this is what the transfer portal do for a coach. It has to keep you prepared to continue to say, okay, this guy may get in the portal and leave your program. So we got to sign a kid, be it a high school kid or a transfer.
It's harder to recruit these days, isn't it?
It has gotten tougher, but because of the transfer portal, it gives us a chance to get back to the grassroots of coaching football. We're getting young men at the high school level. We're getting them bigger, faster, and stronger, and we're teaching them our way, whether it's the Winston-Salem way, the Fayetteville State way, whatever the case may be. And in the long run, I think we'll benefit from that because now we're putting our spin on how we want our young men to turn out in the real world.
It's great to have an offensive lineman that's got the character of this young man.
Yes.
Academically, socially, athletically, very versatile. I think you played all 3 spots, you know, offense, you know, guard, tackle, and center at one time or another on the line last year, or variations of there. But you've got to have somebody, there's got to be that trigger person too. So give me an idea. His brother was quarterback sometimes he was punting, sometimes he wasn't. Is there possible stability at the quarterback position? Are there a couple of guys that are going to battle in camp?
We got a couple guys. You know, Dom obviously will be the front runner in returning. You know, but we signed a couple guys. Jameer, kid from Dudley that played in the All-Star game a week ago.
It's 7, didn't you? 5 or 6?
We're 8 actually
guys.
played in the All-Star game this past weekend. So, and they're high school guys. So we're going to bring guys in and guys we can grow with. You know, the competition is going to be there for running back position as well as for the quarterback position. So again, we've surrounded our guys with some great offensive linemen, some speed outside. So we don't have to put our quarterbacks in positions where they got to throw 30 and 40 times to win a game. And that's the thing. We're going to run the ball. That's part of why I brought a lineman with you, just to let folk know we're going to run the ball. So you're going to have to stop the run. And it's something, you know, we don't normally do it, Winston. We spread it, we throw it. We'll continue to do that in situations, but we're going to run the ball.
Only 16 touchdowns last year on offense. That's why
what we've done. You know, a year ago, that was our Achilles heel. We couldn't run the ball.
Yeah. Last thing, it's a real quick wrapper here. You are what Winston-Salem State's all about, right? You enter to learn and depart to serve, and you got to be proud of that. What is your proudest moment, or what are your proudest moments at Winston-Salem State?
Definitely just being able to graduate with the GPA and all the things I was able to accomplish. To be able to start for all of my years playing and just trying to do my best. Really, that's my whole thing, is just doing the best I can and making the most of every opportunity I got at Winston. So yeah, that's about it.
You're a good man. You're a good man. You're a good young man. Not to say the others aren't, but you're, watching you for a long time. Central State up in Canton, Ohio, on September the 4th. North Carolina Central, your alma mater. It was a close game, down to the last couple of possessions. Boom. At Elizabeth City, at Chuan, first 4 games of the regular season. That's where we'll see the Rams. New namesake. It's not Ramley. It's not We See Red. It's what?
We're defending the legacy.
Defending the legacy. We'll see how it goes in September. Gentlemen, thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look forward to watching you play this season. Coach Frazier, welcome. We know your accolades. You played in the conference. You coached in the conference. You got them to a championship at Bowie State back at the turn of the century. Had success at Prairie View, success at North Carolina Central when they were changing over. And now you're at Virginia State. You have turned programs around. How will you do it at Virginia State? Not to say the program was bad, because they had winning seasons the last 7 or 8 years and been in championships and won this. What do you bring to the table?
Well, hopefully I will bring consistency. I'll bring consistency, and then, you spoke of all the other places that I've gone that were down, and looking at the infrastructure, looking at what's in place at Virginia State, this is the best situation that I've ever walked into. And I'm extremely excited to lead the Trojans. I'm extremely excited to be back in the CIAA and try to compete for championships.
What do we expect to see? We mentioned offensively about 22 points a game, which wasn't bad. When I think of Virginia State the last few years, it's been a really effective, a top-shelf ground game. And I think about you as a coach like that likes to protect the line of scrimmage and run the football a lot, play good defense. Is that what we may can see a little bit out of Virginia State, or is it too early to tell for you?
It's definitely early to tell. I don't know who's going to show up at training camp. I just got the job yesterday, so it's one of those things where who shows up, they're going to get coached very well. They're going to get coached hard. They're going to be challenged to do their absolute best at whatever it is that we ask them to do. Guys, we might come out and run the wing team. Remember, I had like 3 running backs on the field, 2 tight ends or something like that. We don't know what we're going to run. You just got to tune in and see.
Yeah, because you got the job, what, May?
May 10th.
May 10th. Yeah. So you've had, you barely know how to get to your office probably.
Yeah, I get lost every now and then. Peggy point me in the way. She get out of my office. You the coach. Go over there and coach. So.
Well, I'll tell you what. I know one thing. Whatever offense you run, Darius Higgins is going to be a focal point of getting the football. It's good to see you. Let me tell you, Coach, in case you hadn't looked at tape on this, and I know you have, and I was doing this research. It was really odd. The last 4 football games of the season, he had 75 carries for 417 yards and 2 touchdowns. He ended the season with 108 carries on 491 and 3. So the last 4 ball games, 199, that was that Bowie game we were talking about, 83, 51, and 84 yards rushing. So you want to get the ball in his hands, I would think.
That's why he's sitting next to me.
There you go.
He's one of the guys that, a 17, 18 season, 19, at Bowie State, we thought he was their best football player. We've always, when we started to prepare for a team, and somehow, some way, he may get a couple of carries here and there and things like that. It was kind of strange to us. But he was one of the first guys that I talked to when I got the job, and told him that, I like to run the football. I like to be very physical at the point of attack. I like to rest my defense so my defense can be aggressive and well rested and make plays for us. So, another guy that graduated and wanted to make sure that he stay and be a part of our program.
When you hear those words from your coach, and when you hear the numbers that I threw up those last 4 ball games, how excited are you to start this season?
I'm very excited, especially sitting beside Coach. You know, I've already talked to him. He got a game plan. I'm ready for whatever you got for us, and looking forward. I know that all the coaches, OC came in. He been talking to me, so I know that I'm gonna be running the ball, and it's gonna be a really positive season.
What was it that happened? Was it a change in philosophies, or the offensive line was well? What was it that really gave you that burst those last 4 ball games? Because I'm going to tell you, that 199, the big plays in that game, against Bowie, it was like wow, and then you just kind of took off. What happened? What changed?
I think what mainly changed for me was I had a bigger opportunity. Throughout the season, we had a lot of special guys running the ball. So we were, rotating, splitting carries, all that stuff, based off strengths and weaknesses. I feel like when that game came around, it was an opportunity that I was given. We had some situations where some guys couldn't go, and when I got that chance, I got in the rhythm, and it was positive going forward with that.
Gives you a lot of optimism going into the season. When you get a new coach, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but it is something that we would wonder. You get a new coach, especially one that comes in as late as he does and has a great reputation. What do you expect from him? What are you asking of him right now?
I'm really just excited to see what he's going to bring to us. Like I said, sending meetings with him, hearing him speak about the game. I know he's focused. I'm focused, and the coaches he brought in, they're focused. So I'm really excited to see what he's going to bring to the table.
I know there's a great buzz at Virginia State. In addition to some new personnel, you're doing some renovations there. I think you're putting in new turf or lights or something at Rogers Stadium. Kind of update me, if you know. I mean,
Well, I lost my parking space, so I know they're doing something over there. So, yeah, we're getting the field turf. We got a jumbotron coming and got brand new lockers being put in. So things are exciting around there. Yeah.
So is that part of that enthusiasm that you have now for not only playing but saying, "Wow, look at what we're doing"? And
100%. I've been playing on grass field since I've been at Virginia State. Seeing these changes come in, we begin at turf field, like you said, locker room changing. I'm really excited to see what type of changes that can bring for when we practice and all that type of stuff.
You're from the Chesapeake area, correct?
Yes.
How far are you from graduating, if you haven't already, and why Virginia State?
I've already graduated from Virginia State. I have 2 degrees.
Electrical engineer, right?
No, nothing like that. It's sociology and criminal justice, and I'm going back, for computer science.
That's cool. Let me ask you this before I got to wrap up. I ask you a question, and this is electrical engineer, I think of Will Adams. How motivated are you to see one of your teammates getting his great shot? I think he signed a nice little deal with the Commanders back about the time you came in. Do you talk to him, and how motivated is that for you and your teammates to say, hey, here's our goal, graduate, get to the next level possibly, and you got a teammate that did that or is doing that?
I'm still in contact with Will today. He's a really great guy. Seeing him get that opportunity, it just, it's opening a lot of guys' eyes and making us want to, excel and have higher aspirations just like he achieved. So, yeah.
You opened the season at Lenoir-Rhyne. Always been a tough Division II power. Bluefield State, St. Aug, and then at Livingstone. So it's a very demanding early schedule. What goes into your mind? And this is my last thing with you. So what are we going to see when the team takes the field in September?
You're going to see some Trojans coming out going hard. I mean, they're going to go hard. They're going to play hard. We're going to play very physical, and then we're going to let the chips fall where they may. But we're going to play physical. We're going to play fast, and teams might want to just buckle up those chin straps when they see us coming.
Typical Henry Frazier football, right?
Yeah. You better believe it.
Look forward to watching you again this year, man. You did work at the end of the season. Congratulations. Congratulations. Coach Frazier, great to have you back in the CIAA.
Great to
with
be
your
back.
Great history, continued success to you and all the people in Trojan family. I think I saw A.D. Davis earlier today. She's still, Good to see you, and everybody else at Virginia State. Cassandra Price, as we mentioned, is your SID. Anybody needs to talk to the coaches and players here, please make sure you see her. Thank you very much to Trojans from Virginia State University.
You have the power right now to transform your life through education and a commitment to learn. You have the power right now to build a life you love through preparation, hard work, and dedication. You have the power right now to shape your life. No matter how hard it's been, you can always begin again. Do something that your future self will thank you for. Come to Virginia State University, a transformative experience.
The Hawks last year were 7-3, 4-3 overall, and that 7-3 record was their best win record as a Division II program. They had great teams way back in the day under Coach Garrison as a JUCO, and had been 6-4 4 other times. But last year was a historic season for them, and it's good to see you guys. If you need some extra information, I saw him. Evan Carpenter, there he is, you're hiding. Evan Carpenter, Mr. Mashuda back there, always good to see you. Or here, the family from Ciaa University. So if you need anything else after we're done, please make sure you go through Evan, and Evan will get that done. Mark Hall, first full season. We were talking last year about Zoom. You had no idea what was going down, but you knew because you'd been in the system. You've had some success as a coordinator at Ciaa. Was last year everything you wanted it to be, and how did you get better this year?
No, last year was a really good year for us. I knew last year when I talked to you, I just didn't tell you.
That's how most people do.
No, I felt really good. You know, I was able to hire really good staff. Felt good going into the season, and last season was a great year. We did a lot of great things. You know, and we got better this year in many, many ways. I think a lot of people, because I was at Ciaa, just assumed that we were going to kind of carry on in a lot of ways what we did in the past, and we really did nothing the same other than what we do offensively. So last year was really the first year in myself and our staff building the program. You know, and we achieved a lot, and so we built on that this off season. We addressed some of the things we felt like we needed to get better at, and we feel good going into this year.
Yeah, we know you're going to score points. You led the league in scoring 38 points a ball game, but the thing you're saying, the defense, you bend, but you didn't break. Very rarely. You played really solid defense, even though you gave up some numbers down the stretch. We talked about this off record. I mean, you were number 3 in the conference in sacks. So you guys were very, very aggressive on defense, and I thought that defensive improvement helped the offense. And you had a guy right there in Ray Freeman that, 7 tackles on the season, couple of sacks. Describe your style of play and what you're expecting from yourself for this year.
I think the style of play at Ciaa is a physical defense because we have Coach Neely. That's his identity. He wants to be a physical player. He holds us to a higher accountability. I think this year my expectation is to be the same because we have a standard at Ciaa that does not change from year to year. It's the same standard every year. So last year was the same expectation as this year. So I'm going to hold myself to the same expectation.
You guys, I saw you live. I guess what was it? What game? Bowie. And, I mean, it was just a dominant defensive force. Bowie played really well, but they had a hard time moving the football. Break here, break there. Who knows what their game would have turned out well. But is that the style you're talking about when you talk about being aggressive and being physical?
Yes, sir. Coach Neely always prepares us for the best case situation and worst case situation. And in that game, we brought our A game. We didn't win the game, but we made sure everybody know we have a great defense.
Yeah, you were very physical. You guys were running at the football. We know about the defense getting better, but the offense, and you lost, a guy that set all kinds of records, was player of the year in the conference, and Bryce Witt, and you're telling me that Bryce is now going to be a GA as he continues to work out and hopefully get his break. And Amik Watkins, that's a great pass-catching combination. Who are some other guys on offense that we can look forward to seeing this year? Jeremiah Smith, I know, is a preseason all-conference performer.
Yeah, I feel great about the offense. Obviously, on paper, it looks like we lost the CIAA Player of the Year, which we did. Obviously, Bryce is probably the best player we've ever had at Ciaa. But I don't think what people realize is we return our entire offensive line, all our receivers, with the exception of Amik Watkins, all our tight ends, all our running backs. So 90% of our offense is back. We've added at least one transfer at every single position, if not multiple, plus really good high school kids. Can't tell you who the starting quarterback's going to be today, but
Why?
because we haven't practiced yet.
It don't matter. You got an idea.
I really don't, honestly. I've told multiple people this. I feel really good about our quarterback situation. I think it's the most talented group we've ever had.
Yeah.
Obviously, we lost a superstar, so I'm not sure if we'll have a superstar there, but really we never had any depth behind Bryce. This year we have 3 or 4 kids that I feel like, if they show what I think they're capable of in camp, that I could put them in a ball game and we could still operate at a high level.
Yeah, I know. I'm joking about that to a point because I talked to Evan the other day, and that was like the second thing I asked him. I said something about who's going to be quarterback, and he said, I don't know. We don't have one. I said, you got to have a quarterback.
No, I told Coach Hayes we're really down bad at Chiwan. We ain't got nobody.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. This is me you're talking to now. Okay. I understand how this is played now. I do. But you got to be happy with the fact that you guys had that awesome record, and you got off to such a quick start. Had a little bump in the middle, but finished strong. But as much as Bryce is talked about throwing the ball, and Mick, you had 40 games where 6 games where you rushed over 40 times. So you had a great offensive balance. Can we continue to expect that from you guys offensively?
I think because we've been pretty consistent throwing the football at Chiwan, I think a lot of outsiders look at us as a passing offense. But as you said, the numbers show we're going to run the football. To be honest, I was very disappointed in our run game last year. Prior to that, we had 5 straight seasons of a 1,000-yard rusher. We had the nation's leading rusher in 2019. So I believe we've addressed that by getting better up front. We've got some really good players at the running back position. We're going to make a commitment to running the football. We're still going to throw it and still be explosive, but yes, we're going to run the football.
One of those guys on the offensive line cannot forget to mention is David Keck. And like I said, you got a team that's averaging about 38 points a game and et cetera, total offense. There's got to be a leader there. He's your anchor. But on the defensive side, Anderson, preseason conference player, Burns, who else on the defensive side, in addition to Mr. Freeman? We're coming back to you. Who else can we look for or hope to think they'll be out there?
We have the same thing on defense. We lost a couple really good D linemen, but we returned our entire secondary. We returned all our top linebackers. We got Ray back on the D line. We returned a lot of other kids. So we didn't really lose a lot as a football team. We've added transfers on the D line, linebacker, DBs. We brought in good high school kids. So we feel really good with our team.
7 tackles, couple quarterback hurries. I find that very interesting. You had your head in the dirt some. When we look at you, what's your strength? And tell me also, how are you able to balance great football and academics? I think you won an academic award last year as well, achievement. Talk about both of those things.
My identity as a player is being a physical player, because it's the identity of this team by Coach Hall. I think I'm a physical player. I think I'm a person who like to get down and dirty. If it's a physical game, I love a physical game. Academically, I think because of the culture at Chowan, Coach Hall holds us to a standard of having good grades and looking at all our grades every single time. I think academic and football is 2 things he agrees that goes together. I think he holds us to this standard, and I think me holding us to that standard and holding me to that standard is why I won the academic awards last year.
I think I read, and I'm sure I got the numbers wrong. You correct me, but I think he had 180 some student athletes maybe last semester that made honor roll, or a big number throughout the season that were honor students. There's a great support system on campus in Murfreesboro, isn't it, for you student athletes?
Oh, yes, sir.
What makes that so special? The whole idea of what you guys do on the field, off the field, and community service.
I think one of the great things about Chowan is the family-oriented atmosphere there. So I think everybody there cares about each other. Even I work at maintenance, and there's a woman there that takes care of football players. They believe in this being a family and taking care of others. This is, when you come to Chowan, it's a brotherhood and a family. That's the only thing, the top one thing you can say when you leave, you're a part of a family.
You do what? You work where?
Maintenance.
Really?
Yes, sir.
That's all right. That's all right. So So you're busy.
Yes, sir.
You're kind of busy during the school year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's cool. That's cool. Because the one thing I know, when you come into Murfreesboro and in the surrounding area, Conway and all up in there, is that it immediately just turns blue. I mean, that's one thing I know about your community. They have bought into Ciaa University and Ciaa University athletics, and with young men like you, I can understand why. And you got great leaders and everything like that. Final word, real quick. Tell me something I don't already know, or I don't have on my notes, or not thinking about what we can expect from the high-flying Hawks this year.
We're just going to show up every single day. My goal when I took over the program was I didn't want the opposing teams in our conference to look forward to playing Ciaa. And I don't think anybody's looking forward to coming to Murfreesboro or having us show up to their place. We're going to play hard. We're going to play physical. We're going to compete at the highest level, and we're going to let the chips fall where they may. We'll be ready.
Hawks going to fly high this year, Ray?
Yes, sir.
All right, okay. Well, I'll be there.
Look forward to having
Come
you.
out there to the pond. Get there and throw. I'm getting me a rod and reel this year. Do a little fishing out there in the pond. Me and Coach Mashuda. So we'll see what we can get done. I appreciate you. I thank you for everything. Congratulations on the great season last year, and look forward to what 2022 can bring.
We appreciate it.
The Bears last year were 6-4, 5-2 overall. Lost 2 tough conference games, and I'm saying this in the opening, and then we'll talk about it too. But you were 6-4, and 3 of those 4 games you lost by 3, 2, and 4 points. So I know that you're thinking about that even now, like why you got to bring that up. But that's what I do. But anyway, number 5 in the conference in offense, averaging about 25 points a ball game, but the 3rd best defense as far as yards go, allowing about 255 yards and only 17 touchdowns. And how about this for Ciaa University? Does this shock you? Number 1 in rush offense. A team that ran the football 385 times for 19 touchdowns with an average of about 185 yards. Coach, good to see you. Welcome. What can we expect from Ciaa U this year?
That rushing was pretty good, man. I like them stats.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I did my homework now.
Yeah, you did. We're gonna play football, man. It's no secret. We got a lot of toys on offense. We got 8 starters on offense coming back. Our whole offensive line is coming back. I believe we got 2 of the best running backs in the conference, Sidney Gibbs, and nobody talks about Andre Brandon, but he had 10 touchdowns last year. Defense, we got a young defense. We got some young guys. We missing Devin Hunt, of course, and Kevin Sherman, but we replaced those guys. I think we're going to be real good. You talked about Coach Wiggins. He's one of the best minds on defense, so I trust him to get those guys ready to play. We just ready to rock and roll.
Well, you talk about that run game. I mean, Mr. Zachary here, we kid you lost a little weight here. You're down to 340 right now, but it's all
Yes,
man,
sir.
huh?
Yes, sir.
But it's all man 340. You're the commander on that offensive line. What's it like to have a guy like Gibbs running? You're blocking for him.
Well, 2-5, that's what we call him. He make our job easy. All we got to do is just make contact with our man. If we get to the second level, he can spring anytime. So it's definitely fun having a running back who can make something out of nothing. He make guys miss. So, it makes our job easy. We don't have to do much for him to break free.
Are you better run block or pass protection?
Both.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
I do both.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, and I'm kind of being out in left field, but I'm also kind of serious. How do you work in the off season? Do you work on footwork and technique in addition to lifting? Do you spend a lot of time watching tape? How do you get better from the last game of the season till the first game of the year?
Well, I'm big on technique. After the season ends, I watch every game we played 3 or 4 times, and I see everything I did wrong, everything I feel like I could get better at, and I drill those things from January to August till we start camp. So I do a lot of drills. I got trainers at home. I work on my technique, and I watch a lot of film. So
not only of yourself, but of other offensive
everything. I
linemen?
watch everything. I want to see what the whole offense doing. I want to see what us 5 up front did, how we could have got better, and I communicate with my guys what stuff we need to work on as a unit, as well as myself.
You said the ultimate word before we get back to coach, but you said communicate. And I guess a lot of people don't really understand it. At the offensive line, there's got to be a quarterback there. There's got to be somebody that's making some calls on the line. And I'm assuming you're one of those people that will do that. So you guys have got to be that fist. And you can always tell when you got a good offensive line, can't you?
Yes. We five moving as one. That's what we always say. That's the offensive line is the one position group on the football field where everybody has to do their job completely right for it to work. You know, if a running back, you can make guys miss and still have success. A receiver, you don't need your other receivers to be great. But as an offensive line, I need the guy to my right and my left to do their job for me to be able to do my job. So we all have to be moving as one. It's one unit.
Give your O-line some love. Who's your offensive line coach? Give him a little love.
Coach Dargan, the best O-line coach in the conference. Definitely. Shout out to Coach Dargan.
There you go. There you go. And he's talking about that offensive line. You have that balance. We got to work. And you got Wiggins on the defensive side. Is there something that you feel like you got to do a little bit better to get you over the hump? Like I said, 3 games you lost by a touchdown or less last year.
I would say we just have to be a little bit creative. Like I said, we got a lot of toys to play with on offense, and we just got to be smart enough to get our players in space and to make plays. You know, we got a new offensive coordinator. I don't know if everybody knows that, but Coach Manigo is at Virginia State.
Lamar Manigo, yeah.
He's at Virginia State. You know, great football coach, but we got a young man by the name of Torian Hester that took the reins, and really excited to see what he's going to do with our offense.
Those are 2 good minds and some bad boys back in the day when they were playing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Hester could make some plays.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We got some championships.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Speaking of championships, that's good. That's a great save. You must be reading my mind again.
I'm on you.
Listen, speaking of championship, 20th anniversary of Ciaa University playing football. You started off as a club program, took some beat downs, got better, played for a championship, won a championship. I mean, did some NCAA stuff. And for a stretch of about 3 or 4 years, Ciaa was the bad boy on the block. And it's gone down, made some changes, but now you're back. How proud are you of what this program is, and how nice would it be to win a championship on the 20th anniversary?
I mean, it's been a lot of work. You know, as a head coach, you know, you coming in, you thinking that you can change a program overnight, you know, and I learned a lot. But the time is now. You know what? Like you said, 20 years. What better way to go out with a championship this year? You know, we're back at the county stadium. You know, that's home for us now. And like I said, what better way to win a championship there? You know, we don't win a championship. You know, it's unacceptable. We got to win a championship this year. The pressure's on, and I'm gonna put the demand on my coaches and my players. Championship.
I hear that. I hear that. I was going to mention Gibbs was almost a 1,000-yard rusher, had 400-yard rushing games. So again, the offensive line. You've got Tyrese Bobbitt back.
Absolutely.
So those 2 guys, Bobbitt, Zachary, are like that. So the offensive line's good. Verstegen, is he coming back? Is he back, your kicker?
Verstegen is a sophomore, absolutely.
Oh, that's why I asked
you. Yes, sir. He's coming back.
In this transfer portal world, you don't know who's coming back. I don't know where I am right now.
He better come back.
Okay.
I ain't going to release him.
I guess you had a lot of people looking at him, didn't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, some good numbers here. 99 field goals, and made all his point after touchdowns, and was another offensive weapon. So again, the reason why you could score 25 points a ball game.
Yeah.
Last 2 things, and I let you go. Again, 20th anniversary. Last championship was in 2010 at Durham County Stadium, ironically enough, against V State. But September 3rd, you play Wingate. Wingate's always been a tough team to sack. At Wayne State up in Michigan, it's going to be a good game. Bowie State and Elizabeth City State. You've got 4 very difficult early season games. Yeah. Then what?
Then what?
Then what?
Hey, we're going to keep winning. You know, we plan to be 4-0. You name those 4 teams, we're going to be 4-0. That's our plan.
Yeah.
But it's one game at a time.
Right.
You know, we got to believe in ourselves. And one thing about this football team that's different, I've been on a lot of championship teams, is that they hold themselves accountable. And everywhere I've been, when kids hold themselves accountable, that's championship football. We don't have to govern those guys. They don't make it to the weight room on time. They're on their butts. So I think we're in the right direction, and look forward to see some exciting football, Shaw.
And you're getting great support from the top.
Absolutely. We got the best AD in the conference.
Yeah.
You know, he's come in and he understands what we need, and he's been my right-hand man, you know, definitely.
That's good to know. Last thing out of you, Mr. Zachary, business major, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you mentioned home. Where's home?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. So a lot of competition down there. Do you get a chance to, when you're down in Atlanta, and there's a lot of great athletes in the ATL, to talk about Ciaa University? And if you do get a chance to, what do you say about Ciaa and your experience at Ciaa?
Well, the first thing I learned quickly about Ciaa is family. That was the first thing that Coach Jones even told me when they was recruiting me. And I learned that as soon as I got on campus, But before teammates, we brothers. We got guys, we living together, and sleeping on floors, we do everything together. So I tell them that, and that's translated to the field, to the practice field, in the weight room. We bring that brotherhood from on campus to football. And so that's what I tell everybody, that HBCU is the first HBCU of the South, and that's how it feels. It feels like the motherland when you're there.
Yeah. And I know it was great to get everybody back after all you went through with COVID. Everybody did, but I know you guys were doing some big things, so that's good.
Yes, sir.
Guys, it's always good to see you. I'm going to be over there. You still practicing the same place?
Yeah, we go to NC State a little bit too now.
You do?
Okay. We don't upgrade it a little bit.
Yeah, okay. Listen,
but Chavis is home.
Tell Lynch, Chavis is home though. I know. I got to make sure I go. Be over there in that other corner over there. You got to check it out. Check out practice. Always good. Say hello to everybody for me. It's Ciaa University, like I said, the first HBCU in the South, and a lot of great history there, academically as well as athletically. And really enjoyed your awards dinner back in the spring. That was cool. Really, really appreciate being a part of that. That's good. Antoine Lynch is someplace in here. That's your SID. He'll help you out. Adrian Jones, head football coach, and Mr. Antavius Zachary, offensive lineman, Ciaa University, celebrating their 20th anniversary or kicking off football. Thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate you.
Welcome to Ciaa University, a place where history is made, leaders emerge, and transformation begins. At Ciaa University, you will learn from dedicated professors and meet lifelong friends. You can take part in over 30 different academic and service organizations. Get involved in Greek life, sports, or the Platinum Sound Ciaa University's notable marching band. Ciaa University is the right place to grow, learn, and explore.
You guys have been in the fight the last 3 years. Every year you've been there. You've had great year, but there's been a team up north that's just been a little bit better. So how do things change in 2022 for Virginia Union?
You start out with the same recipe, I guess you said the tradition, and kind of put it there. We know that's been the game that's been stopping us from getting here every year. We win that game any one of the 3 years we're playing in Salem.
Yeah.
So, we feel good about what we're doing though. I think it's not an overnight type of thing that we have going on at Virginia Union, and everybody knows that. Consistency is the key. We get a lot of good players like the one next to me, and we compete week in, week out, and when you do that and you do things the right way, championships come. So that's kind of the way we're looking at it.
Let's talk about the yacht by beside you. Mr. Jada Byers was the offensive rookie of the year, and I was just looking at numbers very similar to Hagan's. He had 4 games where you rushed 20 times or more. Had a huge game against Chowan with 2 touchdowns, 33 carries, 213 yards. What's that? The ball's not very heavy. It's easy to carry a lot.
Yeah, that game right there was just a statement game because our senior running back we had before that, he started cramping up. And he told me, Jade, I need you to finish the game out strong, and everybody just trusted me to do it as a freshman. I just went in there with they trust in my heart and finished the game strong.
Yeah, I mean, early in the year, you didn't know, a lot of people didn't know who you were, and you look at stats, you look at tape, who is this guy? And then all of a sudden, you just kept putting up numbers. You kept putting up numbers, having a lot of great rushing. Did you feel like you got stronger as the season went on? Because I know the last game of the season, you were a stronger running back in the second half when it was winning time than you were in the first half. Is that something that you felt like you were able to do this year?
Yes, I felt as though I progressed a lot. Every game I took something more and more and got better at it as every game I played, and just try to do what I could do best with that front 5 in front of me.
Had a great offensive line. We'll talk about the second coach, but while I've got Jada, you had this great offensive line, but you've got great, all running backs have it, but you definitely have it because you're not the biggest back in the bunch, but you have great vision. You see the field very well. Is that something you had to learn to do, or is this a natural ability?
I feel as though that's something God just gave me because I had that my whole life, and it was times where I played on teams by myself and just running backwards and trying to score and trying to make something happen. And that's how I look at myself, as somebody that's just trying to make something happen that has a chip on their shoulder.
Coach, talk about this team. Offensively, who do we have coming back?
Like you just mentioned, we have Jada Byers, of
Yeah,
course.
Jada Byers back.
So,
Okay.
you know, but and most people think that, like I said, you said he turned it on a little later in the season. In week 2, he rushed for over 100 yards against Valdosta State University, and throughout that season, I think he was probably one of the only ones who did that.
I was about to say, I think there may have been one other running back last year that ran for as many yards as Jada did against Valdosta. So
we was happy with that, but the CIAA is a line of scrimmage league. You know, we know that. You know, so we want to be good on both sides up front. You know, so up front, I think we've developed, you know, a certain type of mindset on both sides, and we're good up front. You know, we feel like, you know, any one of our skill guys can turn it on at any time, you know, but up front is where we're good at. You know, we have 4 returning offensive linemen that started, and we have 3 returning defensive linemen that started. So we feel good about what we got up front. And the teams that win the line of scrimmage in this league usually playing in Salem. And I think all the coaches can attest to that. You know, you're not going to win this thing on the flanks. You're going to win this thing in the middle. You know, so that's kind of where we build our team from.
And you also win it with good special teams.
Absolutely.
And you had that last year. How do we advance? How do we replace the guys that we lost?
It's tough to replace an All-American. You know, I think you got to do it collectively, and I think that's what we have now. We have a bunch of good guys, a collective unit. When we had Jefferson, he can do it all. You know, just kind of put him out there and watch. You know, so to speak. And I know a lot of the coaches in the league probably already graduated, but we got a few new guys that are coming in that are just as good. You know, and again, we look to do that by committee. And those guys, they're pretty second special too.
Do you see this as a great opportunity because of some of the changes in the conference, you know, as far as, you know, Bowie State and whatnot, but new coaching staff? Do you look at this as a great opportunity to get that championship, to get that Northern Division title? Because, I mean, you talk about how close you are. You know, over the 4 years or 3 years you've been there, you're 16-5 in conference play, and overall you've only lost 11 ball games. So you're doing it, but is this the year, is this the opportunity you think?
9 ball games.
9.
Okay. So no, it really doesn't matter who we play. I think. You know, I think our most important opponent is our next opponent. You know, we kind of look at it like that. And you can't take away from what Bowie has done up there and Coach Wilson has done up there, but I think he's established the program. So whoever's next in line up there is pretty much going to do the same thing, I think. So we know we got to compete come October, you know, no matter who we got to play, you know. So, but our next opponent is probably, you know, our most important opponent. And that's how we kind of teach the guys, and they know that. But it's hard. It's hard not to look at that schedule and kind of mosey your way down to October and say, you know what? You know, let's put a little asterisk by this game, or this game is just this much more important. But I think when you do that, you lose sight of those 6 that are in front of that.
Right.
Because in this conference, you know, you had one bad week in October, and sometimes you got to start preparing for recruiting or for next season. You know, you got to make sure you keep it buckled up and ready to go every week.
Jada, you're the offensive rookie of the year, so you know a lot of eyes are going to be on you this year, especially after we're up here talking, and then everybody knows who you are. What are your offensive and team goals for this season?
Offensive and team goals this season is everybody want to play at Salem. That's our goal regardless. We don't want to go back up there and spectate. We want to be on the field playing this year. And our offensive goal is just for us to do what we got to do and win every game in the front line, the front 7, like we always do, offense and defense.
They were telling me you did a really great job in the classroom. I think you came down here, not transferred, but enrolled here from New Jersey. So what is it about Virginia Union that's really made it feel like home?
That's just the best place I could ever wish for. Like, I've wished that was an NFL team right there. That program is just wonderful right there. It's just, when Coach Parker first accepted me to come there, when I left Sacred Heart, it just felt like they came with open arms. Like, some people don't understand, like, HBCUs is the best schools to me regardless. And I feel as though all these coaches is like father figures to me, even though I have my father, but all these coaches is here is just trustworthy. They respect you. They let you just be you and let you just be a young adult, and they just let you not make many mistakes, and they let you teach football and life aspects after that.
And when you walk around the halls there, you go in the locker rooms, you see a lot of football great history, a lot of legends, you know?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, you know when you put on the VU uniform, you know they're coming after you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're definitely coming.
Yeah.
It's a lot of history in that school that It's too much history to talk about it.
You talked about the schedule at Virginia Lynchburg. They open on the 1st of September. Go down to Valdosta State. And I know you always try to schedule some heavy teams to get this team ready for not only that game, but for CIAA play. So that's going to be a challenge. Livingstone and then a Fayetteville State team is preseason pick #1 in the South. So a very challenging September schedule. You guys ready for it?
You got to be. Not looking for any weeks off. I don't think, we choose to schedule who we choose to schedule in those out-of-conference games. We don't have to play Valdosta. We don't have to play some of the teams we've played in the past. It's by design. I get a lot of the kind of things that we get from, my VP, Coach Taylor, he's in here, in terms of scheduling and how this things go, and he kind of give you the recipe and how this thing, you don't want to, load yourself up with a bunch of cupcakes and things like that early on, and then you got to get to October, like I said, and play against teams from the CIAA Northern Division. You got to get you guys ready, and I don't think those type of games get us ready. Playing those type of teams early on, and it's a mindset. We feel like we're just as good as them. We feel like we play the same type of quality football as those programs. So, taking ourselves up against those type of teams is something that our guys look forward to too. Anytime you say, we're going to play the #1 team in the nation, it makes your guys get up. We feel good about it, and we feel good about our chances.
I know you're ready. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Look forward to seeing you guys very, very soon. Always do a great job. There's so much history at Virginia Union. Not to say it's not at other schools, but you go on a Hovey Field and you know there's something special. And then you got the man over there, Joe Taylor, so that's a good thing. Hello to everybody at Virginia Union for me.
I will, thanks.
Hope to see everybody very, very soon. Very soon. Dr. Alvin Parker from Virginia Union, the Mighty Panthers, and again, Jada Byers, who was last year's Rookie of the Year in the CIAA.
For some people, university is just another series of classrooms. For others, it's about finding purpose and value as you define what will be your life's work. But when you step foot here, in this place, that's when you find your life's work colliding with legacy to produce an educational experience reaching deeper than you ever thought possible. It's more than books, more than classrooms, more than papers or exams. Virginia Union University is a place where you discover the power of a limitless future.
Lane and Richard Hayes, what a tandem they are at Fayetteville State. We've called those names several times over the last couple of years. Mr. Lane's been a quarterback, and Coach Hayes knows his way very well to Salem, Virginia. He's been here many, many occasions.
Yes, sir.
And that's a good thing, though. You're playing for championships.
You're right.
You're playing for championships. 30 points a game they averaged last year on offense and forced 30 sacks and only allowed 12 points a ball game. We're in the top 10 in defense a season ago as well. And, you go in between the numbers a little bit before I let you give us an opening statement. You had 3+ games. You had 3+ sacks more 6 times this last year. And you held, this you have to double check this sometime because you forget. You had 3 ball games where you held teams to less than 50 yards rushing.
Yes. Had good players.
So tell me about those good players and where we're going to see them in 2022.
Well, good morning, everybody, first and foremost. Very excited to be here. Another year at the CIAA Media Day. Going into the 22 season, we're breaking in another offensive coordinator. It seems like I say that every year we come here. But Coach Howard Fagans back there is going to be our...
Where's Coach Fagans?
Raise your hand, Coach.
All right.
He's going to be our new offensive coordinator. He's in charge of making sure the Bronco offense goes. Him, along with Coach Darrell Bullock, as our new offensive line coach. And we're in the process of hiring a wide receivers coach. That's all fine and dandy, but I'm a defensive guy.
Yeah. And
we're going to make sure that we continue to build upon the foundation of our defense. We were pretty good last year, but we also lost a few pretty good football players. And Keyshawn James, no longer coming back. Joshua Williams, Elvin De La Rosa, Jerome Bentley, all those guys are gone. So our hands are full trying to replace those guys. But the coaching staff has done a pretty good job of getting out and finding good players to come in, and we hope to continue our same success.
Those names have been etched in my memory and on my boards for years, and I don't know how to even do a board without having to look and say, okay, there's Keyshawn's over there, and then again Mr. Williams, who I know you're very proud of,
yes,
being drafted in the 4th round,
yes,
by Kansas City Chiefs, and from what I heard from some people I know that out there, that he did really well in OTAs, and is going to probably make a contribution, if not as a second or third DB, but definitely on special teams.
Yeah, we're really proud of Josh. We knew early on in his second year that he had that potential to go to the next level, and then I can just tell everyone in here that it was an overwhelming experience going through that process with him, with the scouts coming every day to practice, and we having to divide time between individual and scouts wanting to talk to people and learn about Josh through the trainers, the equipment managers. They talk to everybody, so it's like, okay, we got to focus on practice, let the scouts do their thing.
And having said that, not to cut you off, but having said that, that's got to be a great experience for you, because you had a chance to throw the ball, I'm imagining, several times in some drills against a guy that's now a pro corner. So what kind of quarterback can we expect out of you this coming season? You had some nice numbers, you had some great games. I'm going to talk about them in a second, but I want to hear from you about what your expectations are.
As a quarterback this year, you can expect a great leader, someone who's going to stay positive and be relentless in those defiant moments. I want to be the guy that my teammates can look up to and count on in all situations. We always have to stay positive and remember what the main goal is. I want to rely on my teammates as well. That's going to be a big thing. We should be able to rely on each other, and we're the ones out there throughout the 4 quarters. So that's what you're getting from me this year.
Threw for over 2,200 yards and 21 touchdowns, 152 of 235, and this is the thing, the typical Fayetteville State solid quarterback, only 5 interceptions. So you value the football, and had 3 ball games last year where you threw 4 touchdowns or more. So again, you get it done. So with that being said, what are you able to take back? And you've been the quarterback a couple times and had some nicks and necks and all that stuff, but what are you able to take back from your championship game experience to be able to get this team over the hump this season?
Like I said before, we just have to be relentless. I study, some of the great players at their sports like Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, and the thing you look at with those guys, they've all endured adversity, but throughout it all, they remain relentless. And so you just got to keep fighting. No situation is the same one, so it's a new thing each time. But we just got to stay strong and keep fighting no matter what.
With a guy like that as your leader, as you're pulling the trigger, who is Jetson back?
No,
he's not back. Okay.
Not back.
Who were some offensive guys that you can share that we can look forward to looking at or start beginning to build some foundation with?
Well, we're going to always start with Kahari at quarterback. As it relates to the offensive line, Michael Todd is coming back as the left tackle. Ben Caldwell played right guard for us. We lost 3 offensive linemen, so we're replacing those guys. We were very, very old at receiver last year. Ty Sharp's no longer with us, so we had to recruit a bunch of young wide receivers that we think are very talented. And then that's the offensive side. So.
Which is a great question to ask you. What do you look for in receivers now? You've had some really great receivers the last couple of years to play with, and now you're going to get a whole new bunch. And I'm not saying, I'm not talking about throwing them on the bus or anything like that, but what do you look for is, okay, yeah, he's got it. He can help us.
I look for someone who's going to work hard in their craft, guys who study the game, willing to learn the game, because I think that if I can get my skill guys to think like a quarterback, then we're in a good position. So guys who are going to be relentless out there, that tough, willing to get off the press, be able to run good routes, and be efficient.
Elton Andrews back.
Yes.
So kicking game, pretty solid special teams. What about the kick returners now?
We're going to have to develop them. They're all gone.
He's going to be one?
No.
Yeah. You sure?
I'm very sure.
What makes him so valuable? I know there's maturity. You started off out on the West Coast and you were Hutch and everything. What makes him the quarterback leader that can take you to the promised land?
Just the way he attacks each and every day. Never late to anything. Straight A student. This is one of the first times you're going to see him without a football in his hand. He normally carries it everywhere he goes. But just being able to galvanize the other guys, getting them together in player-led practices and 7-on-7s. He's done an outstanding job this summer with the summer workouts and getting the guys out there working out in the afternoon. So just his overall leadership and what he brings to the table, we're going to continue to build on that.
Kari, what are you studying at Fayetteville State?
I studied English. I graduated in the spring, and now I'm going to go back and finish up my minor in communications.
Great. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. That's you guys. I didn't even ask you anything. I didn't say anything about the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because I know, but you handle it so well. But I know what it would mean to you with the legend in your family and with the success you've had as an assistant coach, as a head coach, what it would mean to you to win that football championship.
Definitely. It's almost like you're a victim of your own success. Being at Fayetteville, and from my second year until now, all we've done is play for the championship. And it's kind of premature, but now it's expected. And so we're going to have to continue the success that we've had. We're not going to run from it. We know everybody in here is gunning for us, and we'll take on the challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it
is what it is.
It is what it is, yeah. It is what it is. Real quick before I let you go, renewed the series with UNC Pembroke this year. They've always been a very, very strong program, and that game is always, what's the name of that? Is there a name to that anymore? The Battle of I-95?
Two River Classic.
What is it?
Two Rivers Classic.
Two Rivers Classic. I knew it was, yeah. I mean, you played that. Wingate, another tough team,
yes.
and then Lincoln as the first three games. So hey, you got your hands full.
Definitely. Starting off with UNC Pembroke, that's been our focus all summer. Is trying to get film on them and break them down and get the guys prepared for what they're going to see September 3rd. And then of course Wingate is a perennial powerhouse that always gives us problems. And then you heard Coach Dean up here talk about his defense, and he really gave us a piece of that last year when they played us, when they came to Fayetteville. They were really stout up front, and so we know we don't have anything easy ahead of us, and that's before we even get to the side.
Phil mentioned Devin Cowan back?
Yes.
Devin Cowan, another one of those guys that can give you something, another local guy. So there's a lot of good things going at Fayetteville State. Adrian Ferguson is the SID, and if you've never gotten the opportunity to see Adrian at the grill, I don't know, he might be a better grill master than SID, and he's one of the best SIDs in the country. I'm going to tell you right there. But Adrian does an awesome job, and all his media and all his people. So any questions that you have, anyone for Fayetteville State, make sure you see Adrian Ferguson. And I thank Mr. Richard Hayes, Coach Richard Hayes.
Yes, sir.
That's his name, right? And Kari Lane.
Yes, sir.
Put that
apostrophe
in the middle, right?
Yes, sir.
That's it. Ain't no more Carrie Lane, is it?
A great job, a great life, that's your goal, right? Whether you are a traditional student, a transfer student, a military student or a dependent, an international student or an adult learner, Fayetteville State University provides exceptional educational opportunities for everyone. We offer nationally ranked degree programs at an affordable cost. Visit uncfsu.edu to learn more and apply today. Come here, go far. This is Fayetteville State's promise to you.
Bowie State University, what can we say about the Bulldogs? A phenomenal season last year, 12-2. Advancing to the NCAA's quarters, 7-0 in conference play and winning their third CIAA championship in the last 4 years. One of those years has been a break year, so 3 consecutive championships. New head coach Kyle Jackson. And Kyle Jackson's one of those guys we were mentioning earlier where we said about coaches that are new coaches that actually played at the school that they coached. Kyle Jackson was an outstanding linebacker, DB, at Bowie State back in the day when they were beginning to turn the program around. And this guy needs no introduction, either Joshua Pryor. I don't make a lot of tackles because everybody runs away from me, but I will catch you, Pryor. I know who you are. I know who both of you guys are. It's good to see you.
It's a pleasure. Pleasure to be here, sir.
I was just talking before we start. Did you ever think that you would be here as opposed to Wilson being up here and you being in the back making faces at him and stuff?
Nah, this is surreal. 15 years ago when I first entered this conference, I never thought I'd be sitting in this seat. A few months ago, I was actually the guy in the back of the room recording Coach Wilson and Coach Sewell and Coach Reed, as they were doing their interviews. So now to be in this seat, man, it's a pleasure. It's a blessing.
It is. It really is for you. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
But it helps to have a guy like Joshua Pryor to start the year off with. And it's a guy that you knew because you coached him a lot on the defensive side of the ball. So before I ask Joshua anything, what kind of player is Joshua Pryor?
Man, Josh he's a grit guy. When I say that, he's not one that's going to sit around and he's not going to yell and do all those type things, but you see the work that he put in. He's one of those guys that's going to lead by example. He don't have to raise his voice. When he's at practice, you can just see the difference in the guys. His energy, the aura that he brings, it's like no other. So having a guy like him going into this season, I'm excited. Like I say, we hear all the things that's being said and things like that, but, we take it on the chin and we're going to show up September the 3rd when we kick off the season.
73 tackles a season ago, 21 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 2 fumbles, 12 quarterback hurries, and in your spare time, popped a little popcorn at the side of the stadium. Did a little bit of everything. Man, I tell you what, to watch you evolve as a player, like you said, very solid. And at the end of a ball game, because you guys have had so many great defensive linemen, your teammates in the past, but, every game you still 5, 6, 7 tackles. If it's a big stop, you're always involved in it. So how have you seen yourself grow as a player, and what are your expectations for this season? I guess you got enough room. I got enough fingers for another ring, right? Okay. All right, but Neil.
Yeah, so as far as myself, I definitely seen growth over the years. I feel like I've always worked hard on the field and just been relentless with my effort, but, just fine-tuning my technique and things like that really helped me along the way. I got faster, of course, and I know more about the game now. My mental has grown as well, so going into this last season, I'm definitely looking forward to show everyone, what I've been doing. I think you'll see a difference as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, 73 tackles, 21 TFLs, it's going to be hard to see much difference. But the thing I will say about you is that because your defensive line, your defense has been so good, practice, the competition to get out on the field to play, it really raised your level, didn't it?
Yes, sir. In practice, we just trying to push each other every time. As a D-line, we're trying to be the best group on the field every day, and we're trying to bring that energy. I know, the defense, they work through the D-line, so as long as we have the energy and we're making plays, everybody going to rally around us.
Is the demise at Bowie State here? I mean, they say, okay, Bowie State, you got players that transferred to some big schools. You got players that leave. You got coaching staff that's gone. Okay, here we go. We got a chance to take them down. Tell me about it.
Well, it's one of those things, it's expected when you go through change. Change is a good thing, but it's inevitable at the same time. And at Bowie State, we preach a next man up mentality. So that's from a coaching standpoint, a player standpoint, even our equipment managers. If somebody go down or somebody can't travel, that next person has to be ready to go. So, like I say, it's one of those things where we hear everything that's being said. We're not going to respond to it. We're going to put our work in and we're going to put it on display when it's time to. So it's one of those things where Bowie State we have built this program to be where it is today. And just as, like you say, we have lost some guys, but we also understand that people still want to come to Bowie State University. So it's a quote that I always say, we never rebuild it, we reload it. So it's one of those things where everybody's sleeping on us, but they still going to have to see come September the 3rd. So, I ain't going to say too much more.
No, that's okay. That's all right. Actions speak louder than words anyway. So I certainly understand it, but, everybody's coming for you. Absolutely. But you're used to that.
Absolutely.
But now everybody's coming for you. In the past, they were coming after Wilson.
Absolutely.
Now they're coming after you.
That's good.
You ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We built for it tough here at Bowie State University.
That's what I'm talking about. Here's the thing about it, too. When you were playing, if I can remember back there, when you were playing, it was a lot of run football, run fit, good defense. And then there was a change a few years ago, and you threw the ball a little bit more. You throw, to run. Right. And there was an awesome balance last year. 31 points a ball game, number 2 in total offense, number 1 total offense, 355 yards. Averaged 60 touchdowns, and total defense, you only gave up 27 touchdowns over the stretch of the year and 255 yards. I say all that to say, what's the style of football that we see this year out of Bowie State?
Things aren't going to change, Stan. It's one of those things where, from a defensive side, Coach Sewell, much respect for him. He's been a great mentor to me, and things ain't going to change. This spring we got after it. Excited from what we've seen coming out of the spring, and then offensively, Tyree Reed returned as the offensive coordinator, one of the youngest offensive coordinators in the conference. He has led us to 2 conference championships. So from an offensive side or defensive side, we don't expect no let up. The expectation is the expectation.
And just to throw this in, you, Reed, and Coach White are all part of that college football program,
Yes, sir.
minority coaches, top 100 coaches.
Yes, sir.
And that was on you before you got the head job.
Yes, sir.
So that, somebody knows something.
Absolutely.
So speaking of that, so who else is on your staff there? Because I know Sewell left to go down to Alabama State,
Yep.
and then goes back up and he's joining Wilson at Morgan. So who are your other coaches, and what background will they give you as far as help, as far as it, we say?
Got you. So, like I mentioned, Coach Reed, he'll be the offensive coordinator this year. Coach Avery Williams, who was our defensive line coach, he'll step up in that defensive coordinator role. A little bit about Coach Avery Williams. If you know a little bit about Bowie State defense, we've had the best defensive line the past 4 seasons. So the energy that he's bring, I'm pretty excited about him, seeing what he's going to bring. Then we added Coach White as well. He has a D2 and some D3 background, but he has a major buy-in of the guys right now. So I'm excited about what the DB room is going to look like. And then you talk about we find ourselves in trying to keep everything in-house as much as possible. It's going to sound crazy, but Kyle Jackson, who I coached, and he played from 2015 to 2019. I'm promoting him to my linebacker coach, So you talk about the continuity in the staff. That's one of the most important things that, as a head coach, that I consider when you're talking about change. You want to keep familiar faces around so that way the guys can be comfortable. So it's one of those things where it's no let up. Everybody that's on the staff already know the expectations that were set before, and we're going to continue it.
When you hear Coach talk about the lineage of the great defensive line, and you've been a part of that, and now it's kind of the eyes are on you, how does that make you feel? And the second part of that is, again, your emotions and your mindset. How proud are you to be a kid from Baltimore that's playing within 20, 30 minutes of your home and having the success that you have?
For like I said before, D-line, we just trying to be the best out there on the field at any given moment. So for me, I take that personally, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that I strive to be. And the guys around me, I try to, make sure that they're on an equal playing field, because I know at the end of the day, like, I will have double teams. They're going to run away from me, but I know my guys is going to be there. At the end of the day, we all got our job, and we here to execute it. And as far as, playing not too far from home, I'm happy. I got my dad and my family here with
Really?
me today.
Where?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I know you're proud of your son.
Yeah, he come to all my games, and being
I've
that
seen.
Bowie, being that Bowie, he able to, that definitely helps out the cause. So that's my support right there, and I'm happy that they're able to come out and support.
Well, they've done a great job.
Yes, sir.
I know you're very, very proud and proud. I know we got to go, but that's okay. I'm gonna talk to you. How frustrating or how much of a compliment is it for you? Mentioned when you get double teams, because you look at your numbers and you may not have as many tackles. I mean, I'm looking at a big game. You had 8 against Union, 7 against but you don't always have NCAA game had 7 against Illinois Ryan. You don't always have the huge numbers, but there's a great impact. All eyes are on you.
Right.
Talk about that.
Basically, I know that if I'm not making a play, it's going to open up the play for somebody else to make. If I got 2 guys on me, that's 9 guys left to block 10. So, you know what I'm saying? It's opening up the doors. And like I said before, I just want to make sure that I'm able to put my team in the best position to win. That's not always me making a play, but if you game planning and your game plan was to, run to my side, and now I line up over there, and now you stop doing that for the rest of the game, I feel like I did my job.
There's a lot of pride at Bowie State in it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it. You can see it when you come on campus. Now, I've been up there a ton of times and get ready for a football game, and there's just a confidence and, how you guys dominated that game I saw back in early October and in championship. I see it. How easy is it going to be hard for him there to be the head coach as opposed to being the position coach of yours?
I feel like it's not going to be that bad of a transition at all. Like, we got a a saying that we say tradition never graduates. It's actually engraved on our rings on the inside.
Let me see the rings again. Yeah, okay. Yes.
So yeah, tradition never graduates. I feel like as long as you buy into the program, everything's going to be good. And something about Bowie is we're gonna have people buying in. We're gonna have transfers coming in. We're gonna have changes happening through the off season. But at the end of the day, we're still gonna be Bowie State football.
Computer tech major, correct?
Switched to communications recently.
Of course you did.
Yes, sir.
Of course you did. Of course you did. But number 0 still, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right, okay. As long as we got that. As long as we got that. Everybody did. Man, you're not. I know you've known you long enough to know you're not about a lot of talk all the time. Right, you're about preparing and being ready to play. You open the season with New Haven, then it's at Saginaw Valley, and I thought that Saginaw Valley win at Bowie last year was that thing that really opened up some eyes, because not only did you beat them at home, but you beat a team that was out of the region and came in with a pretty good reputation. You go to Saginaw Valley, then you've got Shaw, and Adrian's going to be ready, and he's going to run the ball, and you got St. Augustine's, and they said they don't want to be here next year first. So you know what it's about, and you know the way to Salem, and so you see Kerry back there. You've dealt with him before. He's handed you the trophy, so you know the thing. We look forward to watching you play. I can't say this enough that we're very, very proud of what the Bowie State program was able to do last year. You made all CIAA fans very happy, and your administration, Dr. Bro, Mr. Dowdy, everybody. So we just want to thank you guys for last year, but now it's this year, and so we wish you guys the very best of luck, and we'll see you as the season goes.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you for having us.
Always, my pleasure. The Bulldogs from Bowie State University, new head coach, Mr. Kyle Jackson, and the man, Big 0, not to be forgotten.
Bold. It begins in your soul. It moves you, empowers you. It comes from shared knowledge, from community. Bold is born at Bowie State University. It's how we prepare students to break barriers and change the world. It's an affordable, world-class education focused on nurturing those ready to take charge. So bring your bold. Visit Bowie State University today, on campus or online. Bowie State University, taking tomorrow boldly.
Commissioner McWilliams Parker, it is, I've seen you a couple of times over the summer, and we've, chatted, I do that, but I know how proud you are of CIAA football and what it continues to do. So let that be our opening, then you kind of go and we'll talk a little bit more.
Yeah, well, first, let me just thank you, Stan, for always just showing up and preparing for our media days and taking time with our coaches and our student athletes, not just football, but throughout the CIAA conference, the investment that you have put in.
Thank you.
And then I want to thank our board, our athletic directors, our SIDs, SWAs, BARs, all of our administrators, as we had such a great May meeting, very open dialogue about this coming year and work that needs to be done so that these young people can have the experiences that they deserve to have on their campuses. And spending time with our athletes yesterday and coaches. I mean, we have five new football coaches this year. Yeah. And it was funny, I went in their meeting yesterday and I said, what is it, what do you want to talk about? And they
I was in the back. Yeah, I was
there,
in the back, right?
And then I realized that we have 5 new coaches that are new, that are still trying to understand or at least come back into the culture and figure out what the needs are for the conference. Mm-hmm. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, maybe there wasn't a lot of concerns. Maybe there's just more excitement about the opportunity to grow in the CIAA. Football is strong in the CIAA and in the region. And I think our coaches are spectacular. Just listening to them and our student athletes, I mean, you heard them. Right, you're hearing leadership and tradition and history and community and, teammate. Like, I just don't want to be a player. Like, I want our team to be great off the field. And that's what college athletics, that's why it's so special, right? And we're in this flux across the nation about what college athletics should look like. And I've always said, I've always want to keep the innocence of why we get to play the game in the first place. And the game of football, basketball, volleyball, whatever it is, many of us, if we didn't have the opportunity to play on our HBCU campuses, I probably wouldn't be here. You probably wouldn't be here. Many of us wouldn't be here. And so I'm just grateful to just sit back and observe the talent that we have, not just on the field, but the talent of what future looks like for the CIAA.
Well, what does the future look like for the CIAA? What can you share with us about things that we can be excited about, if not this year, but in the future? Some things that you guys are working on from a conference office and administrative leadership council.
Yeah, our board, we have such a, they're my mentors. They think I'm theirs, but really they're my mentors, and very strong group of presidents who are always thinking beyond just the game, right? They understand and value what athletics brings on their campus. They understand the value and the energy that it brings, homecoming and enrollment and all those pieces. I think those continued conversations about making sure that our programs are healthy. Not just football, basketball. We're in Title IX 50th anniversary, and to me, it's every day. Black History is every day, right? But we're celebrating, a year that it's not just for women, it's both for men and women. And the educating that part and that piece to understand that football is just as important as volleyball, volleyball is important as, and that whole history of why all our sports bring value in this conference. We are 50 years, it's 46 years, I think, for CIAA women's sports. We're not even in 50 years, but at the end of the day, you see, we have 4 or 5 women SIDs, maybe 6 in our conference. We've got 5 women presidents in our conference. We've got 2 AD female in our conference, and the importance of making sure that leadership is strong. It's diverse. The talent that we have is diverse from top to bottom. That's one thing. I think making sure that our sports have parity. The vision for me always, and I think for the board too, is to ensure that we are having the talented coaches that we need, full-time coaches, making sure programs have scholarships or the resources that they need so that they can be competitive, not just in the CIAA, but outside the CIAA. The good conversations that we've had about being in playoffs. What is it? It's not just Virginia Union or Bowie State or Winston or Shaw. I mean, we all are responsible, for who we play and how we play in order to advance in the playoffs. And I think that's important in just making sure that our athletes have the opportunity to compete, not just here, but also outside of the conference. I think the ability to continue to work with all of our HBCUs. We're constantly talking about what those opportunities look like. I'm just thankful that I have great relationships with my colleagues at the SWAC, SIAC, that they're going through a process in the MEAC, and just trying to figure out what are the things that we can do collectively to make sure that we're highlighting HBCUs, highlighting our conferences, but really making sure that the exposure is what it should be at this level, not just HBCUs, but that we are great members of the national body of the NCAA, and that we bring great talent and leadership throughout the industry, and that because we're HBCUs, it doesn't mean that we are limited. We're not limited resourced. We have we want access and opportunity like everybody else.
You won't let that happen. You won't let people not have access. From what I know about you on both sides, you're going to make certain that the CIAA not only gets theirs, but is treated fairly, maybe get more because of part of something you mentioned a second ago, which was, we talk about change. As always, everybody wants to change all the time, but there's a change, but there's a stand. CIAA and their coaches and the other members have said that it makes it easy to be able to carry on whatever traditions we are. You heard Clear talk about tradition. You talk about the diversity of the schools. And again, you mentioned it comes to my head, Claflin University, won the CIAA softball championship and played and did very well in the championships, in NCAAs. So you think about what Bowie did, you know about basketball, and Fayetteville State does good, Lincoln women's basketball, NCAA, and I know I'm forgetting some more, and we know about the great history we have in track. So I guess it's good to be you, isn't it?
Yeah.
As a commissioner.
I was like, is this a trick question?
Nah.
I think, I'm going in my 10th season. I've seen the transition and all the changes that we have made to get to this point. I really feel like we are in probably the healthiest place that we have been in a long time. And it's not just because of me, it's leadership across our member institutions and everybody doing their part. You know, I always say, you do your part, we do our part, but collectively, it's not a competition between the CIAA and its members and its members and the CIAA. They are the CIAA. I get to serve and work and advocate, you know, in all places for this conference and make sure that that exposure exists, whether it's television, whether it's a seat at the table, you know, for tough conversations, or whether it's making sure our student athletes are represented or getting the awards that they need, or the sponsors value this conference, that there's alignment, you know, constantly. So yeah, my work is cut out, but I have the right people around that everybody is doing their part, not just in the conference office, but outside the conference.
Before I let you go, you speak of your staff. I know some of them here, you don't, I know, but they've done a great job in getting this together and other events. And we come back to Salem, and Salem has been, you know, it's just Salem and CIAA, CIAA and Salem. I mean, the two go hand in hand. And when you get here, they certainly roll out the red carpet, and we met those people. Would you share some thoughts about this relationship?
Yeah, you know, and I said alignment, right? And we talk about this internally. First, let me thank my staff, because I have the rock star staff. They just let me show up. They give me what I need. They make sure people can show up and have. I mean, it's a beautiful room in here. You know, they're always looking and seeing what everybody else does. And you know, the one thing that I love about our conference, we see what everybody else does, but CIAA just does what it does. We don't try to compare ourselves.
That's that standard.
Yeah, we don't try to compare ourselves. You know, we want to be trendsetters. And if we get behind, we catch up. And when we catch up, we just go. And so I try not to worry about what I see other divisions and conferences do. But I do want to make sure that we are not behind in the trends, but we are moving and transitioning ourselves where our athletes can feel like they are valued and they have the visibility. So, but you got to have good people around you that see that vision as well. And you got to have people around that understand their responsibility and role to get those things done. And so my staff, you know, we brought Tanya Walker back. So I'm excited because she's very clear about, you know, what this space looks like. We have a whole new PR communications team. Janae is just a rock star. We've elevated her, and I'm just really thankful that we have a team that gets it, and also external partners that are getting us there. And then I would say, as far as Salem and Roanoke, and they were here, you saw them here. And Carrie's like one of the best in the industry, right? They make it very difficult for you to think about going anywhere, because you want to be with partners who actually see themselves in your own community, right? It's not that we're in their community, but they're in our community too. They come to our tournaments, they come to other championships. They are part of the family. The mayors come and they stay and they watch and they take time. This business is about relationships. It's about connections, right? And it's also about empathizing, right? About what maybe has not been done for you, but what can we do for you to make this experience better? And so when we come here, and this yesterday, I mean, we've got, you know, we had 100 and something kids sign up, and it was about 100 degrees yesterday. So we got about 50 kids, but 50 or 60, and we acted like we had 1,000 kids out there and gave them the best experience. And that was part of having a host to help us get those young people there and giving us the platform and the facilities to do that. When we come up here for championships, as cold as it may be, it is warm on the inside. These athletes come out of those tunnels. Stan, you guys get them on television. The officials everybody's in place and ready to go, because at the end of the day, it's really about creating that experience for the student athletes. And that's what Salem does for us in Roanoke, and partnering with them. They help us get that done. And you need those type of championship partners in order to have those experiences.
Giving you the best that I got, right?
Absolutely. So it's good stuff.
But it was, and you know, you mentioned Roanoke, Sherman Lee.
Oh,
you know,
yes.
the mayor,
Virginia Union grad,
and didn't see him, but got to give him some love. And Keck was here, and we, you know, Carrie's in the back. You got to make sure he does that. You got to need another bag, and we did that stuff. But you know, I'm sitting there, I'm watching the clinic yesterday, and you saw, and
Did you see me, Stan? Did you see me practicing?
I was, see, I'm trying not to go there, but you did. You did a great job, good Julie, and that shows, you still got what it takes, having won a national championship in Hampton back in the day, also being a star volleyball player, so you still got some agility.
Thank you.
But, I noticed you only went through it one time.
That's
You didn't
it.
go a second time. But, as a former coach and player and all that stuff you do, and I'm just standing out there, meeting people and talking, and I saw coaches that were engaged and were trying to, teach and working with them, and they had a great joy on their face. I watched faces, and I saw those kids, and every kid out there was having fun. They were learning, and they were working at the best they could. It might not have been pretty, might not be able to put it on Sports Center, but they were doing the best, and they all left. There was no one that left disappointed. And I think that's what all these things right here together mean, and you put it together, and we may not like you on a Saturday afternoon, but on Monday night we all love each other and we all support each other, and it comes because of the leadership that you provided. So on behalf of myself and everybody else, thank you for all the work that you do and continue to go to bat for the CIAA.
Well, thank you, and I totally agree. I told the student athletes yesterday, I said, I know you know how important it was for them to look up to you, because that was you at some point.
Yes, exactly.
And so you did something really special today, and so I look forward to seeing them having a really good season. We have a great group of student athletes, so thank you, Stan, and CIAA family for supporting us, and I'm looking forward to this upcoming year. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I was watching before we closed it, not to close, but so much so looking up. I was trying to do a little work last night. The All-Star game was on. I think back to as a kid where you rush home, for playing Little League or whatever, and you watch some of the All-Star game, and you always dreamed of maybe, whatever sport. And now, it's like for me, like the kid in me, because you're getting a chance to do all the things. You walk on that field, and you're out there. And we provide a lot of dreams. I've always said the CIAA is a conference of opportunity. And we appreciate everything that we do. And I thank the SIDs that are still with us again and all the people in this area that what you help us do, what you help this lady do, well, you make me tell the stories, and we hope to be able to do it a lot longer and keep doing it better and better and better. So with that being said, Commissioner, do I have your permission to close Media Day?
You have permission to close Media Day.
With that being said, if there's nothing else going on, thank you so very much for attending. We appreciate all the positive vibes and the negative vibes too at times that you send out, and the coverage that you continue to give to CIAA, its member institutions, and all of us. Thank you, sir, very much. Travel home safely. Good luck this season. And if we don't see you before then, we'll see you November 12th in Salem, Virginia for championships. Thank you, and good afternoon.